Yo! Welcome, Roy.
Welcome, Teapot.
Yeah, because we're both streaming. We're both live right now. We're live on each other's streams. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm trying to leech as much as I can.
Yeah. So, I mean, do you just want to, it's the first round of the month thing. I think we just take a look at some of the rosters. I think there's a good amount of the ones to look at here, actually. From looking at EU, we have Mind Over Meta, Spocker, Dra. We have Korgan's on duty, of course, going on there too. Seven Deadly Sins, the Master of Disaster, and also, I believe we will have some Frenchies in there somewhere. I'm almost certain we'll see some French, but I haven't actually identified the French just yet. But yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out. For some reason, my keyboard is not working in game anymore. I don't know what's going on?
Yeah, that's not a good start.
There we go.
Yeah, that is not what we want to see.
I had to leave the PvP lobby, so Heart of the Mists apparently just disables your keyboard.
Yeah, it just destroys the keyboard there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all right, yeah. So sounds like some good teams. I haven't really been keeping up with PvP too much. Been very busy, so I'm sure I will rely on your knowledge of many things in this. But
well,
yeah, we can take a peek at who's playing. Oh, Skyhammer first round?
Yes, Skyhammer indeed. I think the big thing to talk about on EU is that if Team USA was very, very strong and is the All-Stars cast from NA, we now certainly have a Team EU, I think, Roy. Playing on this, it's going to be the Master of Disaster team, the Misha team. It was going to be Misha, Zan, Boyce, Draza, and Frey. They actually crushed the last monthly. They pretty much won it like 500 to nothing, more or less, actually. In the finals, it was up against a Miaz team, I believe, in the previous monthly AT finals. And I think the big story of this is absolutely going to be, can anyone possibly challenge that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a very stacked roster. I mean, this game we're in right now has some pretty strong players in it, too. This red team, very, very good. I mean, kind of a hybrid of
Ultranum.
Skill capped, right? Or not skill capped, yeah, Ultranum. Yeah, with who is that? Cookie?
Yeah,
no,
Cookie Queen. Yeah, we have Dra, Fly, Gornet, Shuriken, and Cookie Queen. Of course, Cookie Queen and Dra, a duo, a power duo, as it were.
Oh.
On the EU scene, you
Okay.
know that.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with Cookie Queen.
Yeah, Cookie Queen plays a lot with Dra, plays a lot in daily ATs, ranked as well, I believe, duo queue, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, a very strong player on the core Necromancer. And it's going to be a double Necro comp. Yeah, I think this is something that NA is very set on. I think NA is a really big fan of the double Necro compositions. Double core Necro in particular. Like, sometimes not even like one Minion Mancer, like one Minion Mancer and one core, or simply just two regular core DPS Necromancers. And we're going to see Gornet play Reaper. I think Gornet likes Reaper. He may not necessarily think this is better. He just likes the build and wants to play it. It certainly is very strong. The amount of damage it can bring to the table, if played correctly and supported well by the support Guardian here from Shuriken, is absolutely insane. And you couple that with another core Necromancer, well, the team fights get a little disgusting. But we actually do see a kill actually onto Jesus Christ here. Core Necromancer. The Signet did not come through thanks to the knockback, and actually, this is a game that is actually very, very close. A potent team here from Blue 2 with Simon, Packwax, Catfalor, Tricor, and Tricon rather, and Spocker.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, definitely some pretty strong gamers there as well. Spocker, definitely well-known. Catfalor, I'd say, is pretty well-known on the rank scene. But yeah, the double core Necro versus like the Reaper and the core Necro, I don't think there's necessarily a huge advantage. I do like the Reaper just because I think it obviously brings something a little bit different, has potentially more burst damage. I think for a red team specifically though, it's good just because they have Fly on Thief, and everyone knows he's a one trick. And he's kind of a coin flip one trick too, because sometimes he plays well, sometimes he doesn't. So it's it's kind of like just how's he feeling that day. Assuming he shows up. But they don't have a Revenant, which they do. The blue team does. So I think bringing that Reaper to kind of match some of that burst pressure that the Revenant will be bringing, the Herald specifically, is pretty useful.
Yep. Exactly. And it's interesting that, it's funny. Everyone always complains about Thief, but there's a surprising amount of teams that don't even play it, right? We see the blue team going without that, kind of replacing it with the Mirage, I suppose, to an extent as well. So pretty explosive comps on both sides. There's a lot of damage here as well. It's very, very bloody team fight action here as well. Reaper, Grenade Horse with Power Thief, right? It's a lot of pressure here. And the same thing true from the Mirage, the Power Herald, and of course, the Minion Monster Necromancer and a Core Necromancer too. I mean, it's just a beautiful state of the game, it really is. But, the good news is that because the bots are gone, ArenaNet will stop making builds designed for bots to play, so Minion Monster is sure to get nerfed.
Yeah, because that was the reason.
Yeah.
That was what was enabling the bots. Not like they could play anything else. Like Mesmer. I think one of the reasons maybe why we see blue team not running Thief as well is Thief is a little bit less impactful on this map just because of the nature of like the nodes, the jump pads, and everything. That being said, I mean, maybe they just don't have someone who feels comfortable playing Thief. Obviously, Mirage is a somewhat decent, equivalent to Thief in terms of the roaming capabilities. And obviously, if you play Mesmer and you don't play Thief, well, you're probably going to play Mirage. So that could be it as well. But I do also think, like I said, I think Fly feels very comfortable in Thief. He's probably not going to swap off to something else. We know he can play Herald if he wants to, but they probably just don't think they need the extra teamfight damage, and they prefer having the Thief to match the Mirage if need be. But yeah, I think overall we should see Red Team probably take this game. Obviously, Skyhammer is going to be a little bit of a slower paced match. Points maybe won't even get to 500 depending on how the games go. But in general, I would say Red Team will have the advantage. I think just a stronger team here. With that core of Ultranum. Even without Cran.
Yeah. They are looking pretty strong right now. They have the double cap with 50 points up. Certainly not a done deal for sure on this game. Skyhammer can be a bit of a grind match, so the 60-point difference is a pretty difficult thing to come back just because of how slow the games tend to be. You can see that we're 5 minutes in already, and we're only at less than 200 points for the currently leading team, and a single team fight could pretty easily swing that and put the blue team at an advantage here as well. And actually, they're doing a great job here. They already shove away Fly fairly effectively. However, their own Minion Monster is unbelievably pressured here, and Dra is coming for the hunt. The 3 bleed stacks actually might be nearly enough to finish the job. Not quite, but the Grenade Horseman is absolutely on the warpath. However, Spocker does arrive, and that should keep the Minion Monster safe, at least for a while the Skyhammer battle continues to rage. But this, of course, does mean that Red Team is outnumbering here with a Literal and a Reaper available. Fly now moving into. This is very scary for the blue team. I think they need to try and turn this around and hold on until the Necromancers arrive. Now we see Spock arrive, but the Minion Monster did end up dying there. Draw was actually able to find a kill even in that situation, which is very, very good for them. The fight continues to rage on so far, and blue is doing a good job of stabilizing it, but one Necromancer down is not where they want to be right now, as all 5 members of the red team arrive at the Skyhammer.
Yeah. And this is, again, part of the reason where, like, Skyhammer can really sort of slow down in terms of the map, because if you contest Skyhammer pretty well for a while, even if you don't end up getting it, although, to be fair, this wasn't really that long of a contest, it will just slow down the state of the game, and I do think that Red Team sort of opting to send pretty much everybody to that node is evident of them not wanting to get stuck there. We see a lot of times games can kind of turn for the team who is ahead when Skyhammer comes up. If they don't really commit to it and they don't immediately snowball off of it and win that sort of node, they can get stuck there for quite a while. And if the other team finds some value on the map and continues to slow that cap down, then they can turn the game around. So Red Team, I think, make a good call there. They really just completely out-pressure blue on the Skyhammer and get a couple of kills, get the cap, come back out into the map, which was obviously completely neutral, but they've got a very sizable 90 or so point lead, 80, 90 point lead here, and they are looking pretty good. Good plus from Fly here as well.
Yeah, it's a really nice kill in the Mirage. This is, blue team do not want to be having these kills happen. They don't want to be bleeding these players like this stage in the game where they don't have anything on the map, and they're actually having difficulty in the team fight too. Spocker in trouble, might go down. Yep, there the Necromancer comes in there. There's a Signet coming through from the support Garen that does connect. The Lich is going to come out to try and counter pressure this, but certainly not an advantageous fight. And it's actually just going to almost get killed again, forcing the Shroud, but with just 1,000 hit points left over, this is going to be very difficult for Spocker to hold on here. I don't think the Guardian really has much left. Yeah, nothing really left over from the support god. That is a kill confirmed, and that should end up being stomped out fairly effectively. And I think with that fight ending, that kind of signals the beginning of the end, certainly the end stages of this matchup for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty difficult map to come back on. We almost never really see, like, huge comebacks, I think, on Skyhammer. Again, it's just so difficult to gain points unless you're just way better than the other team. It's just so difficult to gain points for any amount of time on this map. I'd be really interested to see teams like really try and just play around nodes a lot more and kind of like, I don't know, not necessarily play a bunker comp, but really focus on, I don't know, holding out 2 nodes for the entire game and seeing if that changes anything. But just in general, again, Skyrim games tend to be a bit slower, take a little while. The big Lich coming out from the Cookie Queen is going to get quite a bit of damage on a Spock. There is a hard res coming out, and they're going to be able to get it. But full Shroud there for the Core Necro, so they will be fine for a little bit of time. Atalante Shuriken, of course, going to be there as well to support if they need to. Maka's still going to be under a lot of pressure as well. Not a lot of health out of Shroud, so that could be a quick kill coming out here for Red Team, as we see Gornet coming in off of mid as well. Fly potentially making his way over after getting capped on the other side of the map. And yeah, I think Red Team will have this one in the bag, as they say.
Yep. Certainly looking pretty good for them. They've pretty much got double the points of their opponents, in fact, over double the points of their opponents. They're looking great in this fight as well. Health bars looking very, very high and fresh for Red. Not so good for Blue. The support, if the support Guardian dies, and that will pretty much collapse the entire fight against Blue. Yeah, Dra leaps there with the Horseman's Sword, gets the kill, starts throwing his nades, and they'll be hard to recover from, unfortunately, for the Blue team. They actually do get Gornet, though. Gornet gets caught. They could maybe ride their Guardian, but no. Sadly, the Guardian was stomped out, rallying Gornet, not the other way around. He's still under a lot of pressure, does have Shroud, does fall again, though, unfortunately. Signet coming out through there from Atalante. They're bringing the player back up to a good amount of health. Heal skill converted, and yeah, unfortunately, the fight has gone on for far too long without any support, and the Blue team crumbles to dust.
Yeah, they're going to start potentially putting a little bit of pressure on mid. No, they're not even going to go there. It looked like it was thinking about it, but I think with the double kill there on point A, they realized they really can't pressure that at all. Nice decap onto point C as well, just to slow down any point game from point B, from Blue team, excuse me. And yeah, I mean, this like I've been saying, this game is essentially over. I don't know if you want to like quickly jump and check any of the matches.
Let's take a little look. Let's go take a look at that one. This will almost certainly go towards the Red team. We can take a look at Quaggins.
Quaggins on duty.
Yeah, we can go check their roster, you know, see what's going on there. Looks like they are winning fairly strongly again. Blue team, yeah, and it's going to be Zenvo. Saber, yeah, this is their replacement for Holy Beard. Actually, Mamaya is coming in here on the support gun to replace Holy Beard. Holy Beard, unfortunately, not able to play right now because of real life circumstances. Benny on the Power Herald. Normally playing the side node role, but this time not. Yeah, he's Keep My Cool. Right, here he is. Demolish on the Necromancer, and I Steal Signets. Cranel on the Thief.
Huh. How do you steal a Signet?
Yeah. And this is the, this is the trademark.
Oh, because he steals the Guardian Signet.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Cool.
Look, he just, boom, he just did it right then.
Oh.
Wow. He did it.
Living up to his name.
He lives up to his name as we join the game. Love to see it. The Signet is available again for the Red Guardian here, but I think it's not really good. Actually, it will happen. Nice.
Yeah.
Does actually get that res off. The cleave was not quite good enough, and in some ways there is this slightly unusual thing about the way the Quaggins play. Like, the Quaggins do have this slightly more roaming, glassy-oriented comp. They've always played this, right, with the Mirage and the Thief, right? Typically, you'll see teams only go for one of them, but some teams go for both. And here we have, Zenvo and Cranel for this massive burst combo, but it can lead to them struggling with longevity in some of these fights, not quite able to finish the job, which more robust, tankier comps have an easier time doing. As we kind of see there, they weren't able to finish that. In fact, the fight's almost going against them right now, as Zenvo, suffering from the classic Mirage problem of he can never get his health bar back unless he breaks combat.
Yeah, it's actually really cool how, like people who complained about Mirage, when on release, ArenaNet was like, all right, I guess we don't have enough trade-offs. And most people think that the main trade-off of Mirage, taking Mirage, is that you only have one dodge, but it's actually that you don't have a heal. Your heal is getting out of combat.
Yeah, or dying.
So, or resetting, coming from spawn. So good trade-offs there. But yeah, it is an impressive comp. Obviously, we've seen Quaggins in a lot of the community tournaments that we've run. A team that has definitely been around and being, participating in tournaments and whatnot a lot. So I think we should expect to see them moving forward in some of their games here. But also not running the double Necro, because as you mentioned, as you touched upon, the double sort of roamers there with the Mirage, Thief, and even technically a third roamer if the Herald decides to do that. A lot of movement on this team. So we'll have to see how they do in team fights against teams like the Ultranum team, Ultra Scuffed, with their double Necro comp, and other teams who probably are going to run something similar.
Yeah, and that seems to be the name of the game. I mean, you know, I kind of dipped into the Master Disaster, the rank 55 gentlemen, or the civilized dragons, whatever you want to call them, as well. And they are basically running no side noder and 5 teamfighter roamers, pretty much, is what they're running. They have Core Necromancer, Herald, which is what Boyce is playing. We have Nate Hallsmith from Zan, of course, Support Guardian from Misha, and Thief from Draza. So it's going to be very interesting to see the interaction between comps like that. Because that's kind of how a lot of the games tend to go these days. It's just balls to the wall, just smash into each other and see who wins the fight. Look, people wanted arenas. They wanted like the 3v3 arena, and now you just have it in Conquest, pretty much. You just run it down mid. That's how it works.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. But yeah, looking like Quaggins are certainly holding this one out. I kind of feel like a lot of these Skyhammer games, just like whoever gets the lead earlier on wins the game. It's just because they kind of maintain the same point progression throughout a lot of the game, and then slowly towards the end, like right here, we can kind of see Quaggins double capping, decapping red as well. They got kills on the map. Currently winning Skyhammer probably, plus the rotations from the other players. Yeah, is going to be the kill into the Guardian. So they will win this game in short fashion.
Yep. It did. Yeah,
you just probably close to the first round being over here.
Yeah, the red team just kind of getting to the point where they really want to make the magic happen, but you end up playing super aggressive, but it's so hard to do that, particularly into a comp like the Quaggins, I think, right? Because, I feel like once the Quaggins get ahead with this setup, if they're really far ahead, it's actually kind of hard for them to lose because they can just outmaneuver their opponents and just stall the game out until the time just runs out, pretty much. Just keep the point differential even, as you say. So even if things don't go perfectly for them towards the end, it's very hard to come back against them in that kind of situation, But yeah, I think paradoxically, in some ways, I guess not paradoxically, but in the same vein, if you can shut them down early on, I think it's very difficult for the Quaggins to do much with this too. It's very momentum based. If they don't have the momentum, then they just kind of die because they're very squishy.
Yeah. It is interesting because I've definitely, we've seen like some insane comebacks on certain maps, like Temple, obviously, Legacy, certainly, Kylo. You can see it a lot, but really almost never on Skyhammer, I don't think. And it is interesting, and obviously, kind of touching upon like the community tournaments we run, when we get into like the picks and bans and stuff, I wonder if that's a reason why teams would avoid Skyhammer apart from just not liking the map, is because they're worried that there's barely any comeback potential. So if they do end up getting behind, it's going to be very difficult for them to come back. But I don't know. Also, map, kind of annoying sometimes. It's very slow.
Yeah,
people don't like the Skyhammer.
And you got the jump pads too. Those are always fun.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one, an interesting map for sure.
But Legacy, there we go. This is a little bit of a better map.
What game are you in?
I just went to the first one. Quarantine Crusaders.
Ooh, interesting. Wow. That is a very interesting roster, Roy, on the blue team. Yes. What? Quarantine Crusaders. Andreas, a.k.a. Drowning in Cum, on Holosmith.
Excuse me?
Oh, that was his name in the previous beta, right? On his Mechanist, right? That was his name.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Kran is playing the Tempest here, not the support guard. It's going to be a support Tempest here from Kran. Stern on Necromancer, Core Necromancer. Maya on a Thief. And Feifei on another Necromancer. So kind of more of the same in terms of comp that we're seeing here. But certainly Kran, a bit of a surprise there.
Yeah, what I'm guessing this is? Kran doesn't want to play Guardian because he really likes the Elementalist class. He's pretty good at it. And probably, he was like, listen, I'll play with you guys, but I want to play Ellie, not Guardian. And, Gornit and the boys were like, we want to win, so you can't play Ellie. And so that's probably how that happened. But Quarantine Crusaders, I think they tend to play a lot of sort of like off-meta picks, and it works for them, of course, because they're very good players. But, we obviously Blam was on this team for a while, though I don't see him here. And, of course, he is another Ellie aficionado.
Oh, my God. Have you seen the team name?
Wait, which?
Quarantine Crusaders team name.
Nah.
What the hell is this?
It's okay, man.
I'm not going to say it, dude. I'm not going to read it. These guys are out of control.
Degenerates.
Yeah, I mean, Quarantine Crusaders, they are well known to have unusual naming conventions, and this is certainly no exception to that.
Yeah. But yeah, this should be a decent game. You know, again, probably going to give the advantage there to the blue team, even though they're running, well, not really a less conventional comp. It's really just less conventional support. But I think Cran is good enough to make it work, and I think that they are just probably stronger players in this red side. But we can give it a little look. I do again want to kind of jump around a bit, but obviously we can. Quaggins versus Draw as well.
Yeah, yeah. I think that one might be one we can jump to. If this one goes a little bit skewed in one way or the other. I mean, the red team's comp does make sense, though. You know, they've got the Necromancer, Side Node, Weaver, Support Guardian, Thief, Power Herald, and Support Guard. So it's all looking good in terms of, like, the things. The components are here. The question is which team will perform better. You know, as you say, the Tempest not ideal, that's for sure. But the blue team, some of the very well-known faces, I think, right, in the EU scene, kind of like, you know, the regular top players. You'll see them a lot in daily AT, winning daily AT, that sort of thing. So they obviously have, you know, very high potential just to win this game, like regardless of how composition goes, just on their own merits as players. And already we do see the Power Herald here from the red team getting pressured very heavily. However, Maya gets caught there because of a very nice stealth coming out from Zan, actually healing, or rather keeping the Revenant safe there, turning around into another kill onto Maya. However, the lightning fast signet, or the glyph in this particular case from Cran, is able to bring Maya back from the brink of death and keep this fight going, at least for a little while. And the Thief then immediately moved to decapture that node, forcing the Weaver to leave and then going back into the fight to outnumber again. So that Thief value really coming through that. And in that temporary outnumber, they find the enemy Core Guardian. And I think there's not going to be much hope for any kind of recovery there. Unfortunately, they're trying to go for a stealth res, but the cleave is too much.
Yeah, and you know, I do think this sort of matchup specifically in terms of these teams and stuff in this team fight is going to be pretty interesting. You know, they're both running team fight comps regardless of the comps themselves. Although I'd say they're pretty similar in general. You know, the big difference obviously is going to be Cran on the LA versus the Core Guardian, and they have a Weaver. So there's a side noder on the red team that isn't a Necromancer, as opposed to blue team not really having a proper side noder. I mean, the Hollow sort of can 1v1 a bit, but it's not really as strong, I'd say, as that Weaver. But, so, you know, the main thing there, I think, is it's interesting because if blue team, if their DPS players are, you know, good enough to just burn all the cooldowns from the Core Guardian on the red team, I think they should just win these team fights. Because once the Core Guardian's out of cooldowns, he's going to fall behind Cran, even though Ellie is probably, you know, not as good of a support. If the red team can find kills quickly, though, I think they should have a bit of advantage here. But because the blue team are still going for that, you know, I'd say pretty standard team fight comp with the double Necro and the power nade Hollow, I think they shouldn't really have too much trouble with it.
Yeah, the double Necro is going to be very problematic, I think, because it kind of means wherever the Power Herald is, the Power Herald's going to be really sad. You know, if there's two Necros into the Power Herald is like, oh, well, I guess I can't do anything. And even if there's only one, it's still going to be very difficult for the Red Herald to do that much here. And yeah, just like the pure muscle from the team fight, from the blue team is going to be very, very strong. And as you say, you know, the Tempest, you know, if it is given its time to have its value, it's very, very strong. It's simply the case that that doesn't happen that often.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm going to be honest. You know, again, I do think Guardian's a stronger support. I think that Cran is potentially the best Ellie in the game, and so he's going to play Tempest, and he'll be okay. He'll you know, get some value out of it, but it's not going to be as strong. That being said, they can definitely beat teams with it, you know, without having issues. And we can see here, I mean, this is an important part of it too in general, just being, you know, competent at rotating. We're going to see if he can get this glyph onto Stern. He does, nice air glyph too. You know, and that's obviously not, you know, the class. It doesn't really matter if you're just good at rotating. You're just, you know, your awareness is good, as we can see Cran's is. You can get a lot of value out of it. So there you go.
It's still a fairly close game, though, actually. Certainly not over just yet. There's a lot of decapping going on here. That's, you know, very small linear maps. The Thieves are constantly trying to outmaneuver each other. Well, it's a really nice kill here onto the Core Guardian. Elixir S-Stomp is there as well. It's huge. And the Thief is here. That should loosen the map up a little bit in favor of blue, as they should be able to secure this Necromancer as well. I think it's a 1v3. That's not going to be held even by something as durable as the Necromancer. That's going to be the end of that. And I think we're going to start to see blue take a little bit of an advantage off the back of that. Weaver, though, definitely being annoying, I think. This, you know, Nemesis player, just being a bit of a roadblock, you know, for the red team here, being irritating.
Well, you know, I do think that what blue team are doing, at least what they've done so far, you know, it could just be the nature of how the rotations have happened in the beginning of this match. But I think them kind of avoid. Wait a minute. Actually,
Xananan gets a kill.
Shadow Step Stomp, yeah, from Xananan. Hardstuck.
Oh no! Oh no!
He's going to get it turned around. The damage is huge. We do see potentially the Signet coming out here. Oh, but I think he blinked out of it. Unfortunate. So the Cleave's going to be good onto the Thief, and it's just the Guardian now left alone. Blue team, though, having a lot of trouble capping this waterfall node, but they are going to finally get it here after that kill onto the Thief. Unfortunate that Fefe got killed. But what I was saying, I do think the blue team are doing a nice job so far of just kind of rotating around the Weaver. They haven't really pushed Quarry very much, other than I think there was a decap after the initial team fight very quickly from blue team. But mostly they've just been focusing on waterfall and graveyard, which is partially the reason that this game is a little bit slower. They don't have a ton of points. They're not trying to go for the triple node, triple cap, although we are going to see the decap now coming out here with kills on the map for blue team. But I think that's smart. I think rotating around the Weaver is smart. They don't really want to engage it. They don't really want to give it value by trying to 1v1 it. But the problem with that is they're not winning Waterfall, and so they really need to win Waterfall to have that get value.
Yeah.
And it's taking them a long time. They're actually losing it now with the downstate.
Tran has the glyph, though. He does land it as well. He had no interrupt available from the Thief by the looks of that, of course. It's another potential problem, of course, with the Temmers, that it's much easier to interrupt because of the lack of stability, but it was not available regardless, and that just gets that fight going all over again. Red team actually do secure that node, though, and yeah, like you say, you know, it's all well and good. You can say, yeah, ignore the enemy side noder, just deny value, but then you have to actually win the fights, right? And they haven't actually done a completely perfect job of that, and you might even see Cran go down here too, actually.
Yeah, Cran is making a mistake trying to go for the hard res on Fefe. And to be honest, he did kind of get close to it, but the main issue is that
the thief
didn't help him res.
Oh, no.
I don't think he could have. Ooh, wait a minute.
Oh, this is a huge punish.
Big stealth res.
Oh, this is so unfortunate.
Be able to get it. Yeah, Maya does get that res. I don't think they can get Cran. The knockback is there from the Herald. They realize now what's going on, but they do get Fefe out. However, the problem is Fefe is pretty low. She doesn't have a lot of cooldowns. And obviously, this is Cornecker. I don't think she's going to be able to get out. And you know, it looks nice, right? Cool res from the Thief. You know, you get a little bit of value there, but it kind of just slows down blue team's ability to come back into this map. It staggers them. And I think if the Thief had gone for the plus onto the Weaver sooner, as we see now, they may have been able to get a kill. They certainly would have gotten the decap faster, and it would have been a little better value. So, you know, Maya, again, obviously, you know, trying to help her team out. You know, it's nice, but I think overall, you know, the rotations for Maya could be a little bit better, a little bit faster.
Yeah, I'm liking this play here from blue. They're doing a good job of leveraging their composition on this map here. You know, they're holding their own in these fights very well, I think. Just in general, but yeah, that was a really interesting moment there, because if they'd managed to get that res, that would have been catastrophic. Good response from the red team, immediately bringing the Necromancer in, and you know, bringing in the Thief back there to try and cancel those revives. They were able to, in a way, make it a little bit better. Andreas did get back up, but they got Fefe, which is arguably, you know, an equally as important player for the team. For their removing a Necromancer off the map is a big deal for the red team. And now they just got that 2-cap. You know, they're playing it fairly safe. They're just, you know, really abusing the fact that they have the Weaver and just going from there. Well, does that Signet get interrupted? It actually doesn't either. Yeah, the Rev did go down, but he is back up. Has the Glint heal too, and this is looking good. And Cran in trouble.
He is under a lot of pressure, and I will touch upon this in a second. He probably could go down. Really nice stealth from Maya, though, actually. He's going to be able to get Cran disengaged here. Earth Shield as well at the last moment, going to keep him alive. Unfortunately, the Thief going to be very, very low. She does get her heal out, though, as well as some stealth. However, really nice rotation there from Nemesis to realize the Thief rotating out of that fight probably will try and go for the decap on the side node, and Nemesis is able to stop that. However, decap from the other Thief on the other side of the map going to be good. There is a downstate onto the Herald, though. Maya getting some value after rotating to Waterfall. Is going to be able to find that downstate. The pressure onto the Core Guardian is going to be good as well. And it looks like the blue team going to be able to find at least 2 kills here on middle node. But the nodes still going the way of red team. Side nodes available for them as the Thief going for the full cap there onto Corey. Yeah, so far, you know, blue team, I think, you know, they're holding their own in these team fights, even with technically a weaker support. They're doing, you know, doing a good job of getting kills. But yeah, they're just not getting the nodes where they need to.
That was an absolutely putrid revival, too, on the Core Guard. It might have actually kind of just prolonged the inevitable. I'm not sure if he's getting out of this. Although, having said that, might be able to make it to the Weave, but the Thief and the Horse with it here. This is not exactly hospitable territory for the Support Guardian. Does get the heal off, but it's going to be hard to survive, I think. Having said that, there's not a Necromancer. There's no Necromancer here to actually peel this Guardian out super well. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Roy. You'll notice that the red team, even though they did lose that fight fairly significantly, they didn't really lose that much on the map, thanks to some good rotations from the Weaver and the Thief.
Yeah, and you know, what we were kind of talking about earlier, how they were kind of ignoring the Weaver for a while, and you were saying that it was a bit of a roadblock for them. You know, it's absolutely right. Like, again, they can ignore the Weaver if they want, but they have to be winning the other side of the map, and they weren't. And while they were keeping things even, you know, it was okay, but then they kind of got snowballed at one point. Huge tornado from Cran, but just a little bit too slow, and the Signet's going to come through, yeah. But, yeah, they just didn't have enough time. They didn't do it fast enough. And they're now playing from behind where they really don't want to be because of the nature of this Weaver and the comp from the red team. And this is not looking good for them. And it looks like my prediction may be just completely wrong.
Yeah, it's tough for sure. They have got themselves an advantageous map state now, though they've kind of pushed the red team back to the waterfall. So they're going to try and force a big fight here, which, of course, I think might well favor the blue team if they're able to execute well, you know, just because of their mechanical ability. They should be good to go here. But, you know, I'm not sure if I'd be so confident, actually, right now if I was the blue team. I think we've seen some really good team fighting from the red team, and this could well be the deciding fight, Roy. It's going to go down 5v5 mid. Here we go.
No signet on the red team for 45 seconds, so if the blue team can find a kill, it might actually just be the core guard, so the signet cooldown is irrelevant. Does have RF, is going to be able to get to it, but a ton of pressure onto him, and this is actually really good focus here from the blue team. They're going to continue chasing him down after the RF. Lich coming out now from Fefe.
Ooh, nice line.
She's going to be trying to burn him down. He's looking to try and get out to his portal. Might be able to make it. The Thief on top of him. Maya looking to try and find the kill. Does get the dodge on the Shield 5 knockback, and she is going to be able to find that kill. Great blind as well, so that'll be a kill confirmed. You know, it's good, but unfortunately, again, red team going to find some value by getting that decap out. They have to snowball and get kills very quickly. They do get another one, and there's not going to be res potential here. They should be able to cleave this out. Although Maya going down to the side, Zan going to find that kill. Wait, the res might actually be good, and it is. They're going to find the res on to Maya as well, but they really do need to find these kills and get, you know, a lot of points in a short amount of time here. Still 50 behind the red team. Red team could potentially win off of a cap and a decap here.
Yeah, you know, red team in that fight, they just didn't fully commit. You know, the Guardian went in, but no one else went in. And that kind of meant, like, oh, the Guardian just had to use all of its cooldowns just to survive on their own, which was really problematic, I think. And blue team just, again, just having a bit more decisiveness, a bit more aggression in that team that really paid off. But having said that, Andreas and Sun in trouble. I think Kran does not have the glyph either. He used it to res Maya, and they are going to find a kill here for sure on the Sun, maybe onto Andreas as well. This is actually a actually insane game of throws right now. That's a potential disaster, because yes, Nemesis, again, this Weaver just so annoying, made it to the waterfall. If I'm the red team, I don't think I even engage mid right now. I think you just play it really safe and stall. You just, you just be really annoying. And they should actually be able to get away with winning this game. And a bit of an upset. Very impressive, I think.
Yeah, I think the game plan from blue team to sort of ignore the Weaver in the beginning just didn't really work out because they didn't get enough of a lead. They didn't gain points. You know, they didn't have a lead really in the beginning. They were, I would say, sort of even in certain terms of the team fight, but I actually think in that last fight they shouldn't really have been focusing the Guardian just because he didn't have Signet. I think going for one of the DPS players would have been better for them to focus him out. Maybe they just didn't keep a good enough track of it. But definitely just losing the early game, or rather not winning the early game hard enough, allowed the Weaver to kind of be abused. And, you know, we see them get a couple kills here. They might even get this decap, but it doesn't matter because Waterfall will win red team the game, and that should be GG. Yeah,
that's GG. It's not really winnable anymore. This Necromancer will just die on point and will not be yielding this node before the game ends. Zan doing the same, of course. And meanwhile, we have Nemesis on the other side, just, again, just being irritating on that Weaver, and that ends the game. Wow, 500 to 450. Brutal grinding game, and I think we actually want to, well, the Quaggons nearly beat Dra, by the way, Roy. Okay, all these games insane. 411 to 501. I think Dra's team actually came back towards the end. I was being told they were winning, or rather the Quaggons were winning earlier on, but something must have just slowed them down and they just fell behind and couldn't recover. Big team fight, a big wipe potentially. That's pretty much the end of that round, actually. I don't think there's anything else still going. We still have a few teams that we want to...
One game.
Is there one game that's still going?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see. Oh, it's actually a very close game too. It's like within 10 points.
Come and get them versus Elf Boy.
Ooh, let's see. Oh,
Boy Elf.
Blue team is ahead, but actually they're also wiping, Roy. The plot thing is actually, wait, it's the Feedmen. Come on, Feedmen, let's go. Okay, it's Jester, Skelling, and Nico. Nico down. They should be able to get the rally onto the Reaper here. Oh, no, but the res comes through from Arya Stark actually getting the Reaper back up. That is a bit of a disaster. However, they did manage to get that neutralization. Could the Feedmen actually win this game? The Ranger about to cap middle too. Feedmen have been blessed by us joining this again. That's a really big cap. If they can just stall out this point over here, they have their support available.
Wait, we get the kill.
Oh, yeah, they actually got a big Lich. Big Lich from Jester. Securing that kill actually onto Pockets. And a great knockback from the support Guardian too. Do they have the cleave? So there's actually not much left. The Revenant feeling a little bit pressured now is going to go in there for the cleave. Scaling in play there with I think it's going to be a full It's going to be a big one. Massive AoE damage here from the red team. And 40 points to go. I think this should be a win for the Feedmen. Ranger v Ranger on mid. And a team fight going the way of red team here on the quarry. The redemption arc is actually here. How did this game go? Oh, look how close it was. Right? Look at the scoreboard. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
That is unreal how close this game was. But the red team clutch it out, eliminating both of the Necromancers to finish the game. Feedmen getting the job done. 504 to 453. Wow.
Damn, dude, this guy said support diff in map chat.
Yeah. Whoa.
That's a little toxic.
That
there.
is a little toxic. Okay. Whoa. Nice.
Wow, but wow, the feed. All right, guys, you know what? Misha outdated. Boyce overrated. Zan has debated, and I think Feedman will win.
Yeah.
Feedman
Feedman monthly AT. You love to see it. I kind of want to take a look at maybe the Seven Sins team here just to see who's playing on it, because it's the Pain team, of course. And they're playing into the Master of Disaster as well. That's going to be a very difficult match. Yeah, Seven Deadly Sins and Mind Over Matter are two excellent teams that we can be looking at. And also, there's one more team that we should be looking at, I think, but I don't actually know the name of the team. It's probably,
Are the Worms playing at all, or no?
I do not see any French.
I mean, I guess if Draws is playing with 55, they might not want to play without him. But,
I'm not sure if that's ever likely to change. That's the problem. I mean, they've created the ultimate Omega Dream team.
Yeah. All right, wait, are you trying to say that Draws is better than Sind? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the thing is, I think Draza and Frey are a package deal, right? So you can only have one or the other. Yeah. You have to have you need to have none of them or both of them. So it's difficult to fit all the players into one roster.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
You think that's a good package deal, or is it kind of like you're getting one that you don't really want?
I mean, it's a good question. I think they're both very strong players, of course. Draza and Frey, of course, ex-professional gamers. They've won tournaments, won monthlies. Played there with the Lakers, with the Worms. That's true. Zan has also done that too.
Zan was there.
Yeah.
Who else is on their team? Boyce and Misha, right? Yeah, I don't think either of them were ever in Pro League, but yeah. Too Addicted to Quit. Good name.
Yeah, it is a good
And then, of course, his other name, I Hate This Dead Game. Boyce has some good names, you know? Love to see it.
They are indeed hardcore role players. Not really too much of a surprise, though. PvP is, well, it seems like the entire top-level players, they're all role players. Ooh, very interesting, actually, here, this roster. So, this Necromancer, it's actually Miaz. Roy. It's a big, yes. So we have Seven Sins Lust, Aeon, okay?
Who?
Wait, Num is Tramadex, I believe, actually, right? Yeah, Num is Tramadex, Oki is Oki, okay. That's easy. CBA Life is Miaz, and Pain is Pain. That is not the roster I was expecting, I've got to say. And they're playing without a support. It's a bit of an interesting comp here. Of course, on this map in particular, not the end of the world not to have a support. Aeon might play support on a more team fight-oriented map, I would imagine, instead of the base ranger.
Yeah. I kind of like part of the idea. Well, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I don't want to say 100%. I do kind of feel like this red team probably is going to have the best team fight out of any team just because of the players who are in it. And so I kind of like the idea to sort of try and leverage potentially their thief advantage, since I would consider Pain to sometimes be the best thief in the game, and then just try and out-rotate the red team. And if that works, then they have a chance, especially on a map like Temple, right? But they might not. We'll see what happens. It is going to be a pretty big push from red team onto the altar, where at the moment Aeon on this Ranger build is going to try and last as long as she can. But without support, I don't think it's going to be very long.
Yeah, not if the Revenant was not actually able to arrive in time to get the job done there to try and support the Ranger. And it's kind of a classic move, I almost think you can just assume that 55 will push far. They do it every game. It's pretty much how they won Mota pretty effectively. They just like going to that far node and pushing with loads of damage. In fact, they did it with 3 players there, and it was more than enough to get the kill. A Thief here from Pain, able to neutralize the Temple, but we already have Draza moving in to try and intercept that, to hold on to that. And I mean, this is going to be a bit of an interesting one, but I'm looking at the map already, and it's not looking super good for the blue team here. Like, although Pain is actually doing a pretty good job in this 1v1 versus Draza. And actually, Frey just dies here as well. Like, Oki and Tramadex just catch him and delete him immediately. So that's a much-needed kill there. Like, I think if the Necromancer had actually been able to make it to that node, things have kind of got really scary in terms of the entirety of the map, in terms of the control. But because that Necro died, yeah, blue team actually are able to get a bit of a rebound here.
Yeah, the main issue with them, though, is that they're so spread out, it's going to be harder for them to kind of get nodes. And, Pain doing a nice job of contesting Temple into Draza, not giving up the node, or not getting the cap, rather, but not giving it up. And it's not going to be a neutral map. We do see a kill onto Zan as well, after the plus coming out there from Trauma. And this is a decent place. The problem is that eventually they will crack somewhere, and we see that over on mid with, I believe Mia's, as you said, going down on this Necro over on the middle node. Oki just not able to support him. But if they can get side nodes, I mean, it's pretty good for them. And we do see, again, the plus from Trauma. After going to Altar, he goes over to Temple, so that should be the side node confirmed. Although Draza coming in stealth, Pain not realizing this could be difficult if Draza can win this 1v1. We'll see how it goes into Trauma, but side node's confirmed. So, they just need to kind of try and rotate around them. Mia's, though, is dead again. Not sure if he got rezzed, but I think he's going to go down to it again. So middle node's certainly not an option for blue team right now.
Yeah, there's an Elixir S-Res there from Oki, but Necromancer is just, without a support, it has very limited options on what it can do. It can't really disengage super well, and without support, it will eventually have a lot of difficulty in some of these fights, particularly if they end up getting outnumbered. I've got to say, though, the Necromancer kill on Frey certainly set the red team back a fair bit. Zan here is going to be going and grabbing the temple there, getting rid of the thief, but Pain really putting in some work here to make sure that the red team doesn't get a major advantage in the game. Draza going over here to the altar, not actually being matched right now. I think we might see the Necromancer move over here. Yep, here we go. The Necromancer is going to come here, but will the decap come through? Actually, no. Necromancer makes it. Yeah, that was a nice movement there, using the worm to teleport up there very quickly, and that will certainly drive this thief away. Although, having said that, we already have the Revenant here from Boyce. And again, Necromancer outnumbered. It's not really super good for the Necro.
No, I mean, he can obviously, out of all the players on the blue team, he's going to be able, well, besides Aeon, he'll be able to hold it a decent amount of time. And we do see the plus from Pain coming in after they enable mid. I mean, I think this is kind of how blue team, the only way that we're going to see blue team win is sort of by holding a similar node state, 1-1, probably in a decap, and then not losing the rest of the map. Because they've held the game even right now, and they're going to have to do that. I think, they get the kill on Amisha now as well, and this is how they're going to probably get a lead, is by getting these kills here and there, although the res does come in from Zan, nice res. The thing is, though, they get the node off of it, they get the double cap off of it, and stillness isn't capped for red team, so I think it's probably value nonetheless, even though they don't confirm that kill. The problem is all the health bars on blue team are extremely low, red team completely healthy, and even though their support was dead, as soon as he gets back up, again, no support on blue team, they're just going to really feel that sort of lack of healing.
Yeah, I've got to say, though, blue team's comp is almost working. They are, of course, hemorrhaging some kills here and there, but I think you're really seeing the support actually get punished a fair bit. Like, Misha not quite able to keep up with where a lot of the fighting's going on. Like, finally, we do see a bit of a cleanup, a bit of a wipe from blue as red team able to take out Aeon, Traumadex, and Oki at the same time. That gives them some breathing room, but we've seen Frey die a lot this game, and it's because, there's a lot of movement here going on, a lot of mobility from the blue team, and a slight bit of, brittle gameplay from red. Not quite able to keep up, but they're certainly starting to stabilize now as they also eliminate Miaz on the Necromancers. That's another kill and a bit of a stagger too. Oki maybe going to go for another insanely cheeky res, but no, Draza is here to deny that, and so is Zan. And Boyce also lurking around, looking to pounce on Traumadex as he comes off respawn.
The other thing, too, that's really important here is we see blue team getting snowballed very, very hard and staggered very hard. Not snowballed, excuse me, staggered very hard. The red team did a really, really good job of not finishing kills off. And I don't know why Oki's running into this node at all, to be honest. But he still has two people that haven't even fully respawned yet. But yeah, red team did an excellent job of not finishing their kills. Like, we literally saw Misha just standing on top of Aeon's body while she bled out. And the thing is, because of the nature of this comp from blue team, when they're staggered, it's much harder for them to break into a node. Red team can do a really good job of just kind of bunkering down. They get a triple cap. They've already gotten like 80 points in the last couple of moments. And they now have a very sizable lead over blue team. They still have a double cap, even though Altar's been picked up. It's a lot more difficult for blue team to sort of regroup after getting staggered and break into the map than it would be for red team. So the stagger hurts them even more.
Exactly.
Because they don't have that support. They don't really have a proper team fight if they try to go for it. We will see them again start this kind of slow bleed, right, where they send Pain far. He goes for the decap. They have Alter decap. They're going to kind of dance around mid. But again, because they had Oki die, now Trauma dies as well, it continues to stagger them, and it's going to be very, very slow for them. Buffs coming up in 20 seconds could be relevant, but again, it's just this lead has kind of, the game might just even be over at this point because of the lead red team have.
That's the big advantage that the support gives you. You can just keep going, right? You can just keep pushing and pushing and pushing, whereas like the blue team have a very hard time just kind of restarting or restabilizing themselves, just like you said here. And you're absolutely right. Like this is almost how you would expect the game to go, right? The blue team has a slight advantage, if anything, in the early game when the game is still a little bit fluid. But as it starts to solidify into the mid game, it's a bit more locked down. That's when red team's composition becomes extremely difficult to deal with, particularly if they find themselves a big win. Oki just killed Draza, actually, with some grenades. But I think Frame might be able to get the, he's going to get the rally. Yeah, the Savior comes in there with the Necromancer to get the job done there too. But Droz is still not out of the woods yet. It's going to get chased down by the Necromancer, but teleports away and goes back into this fight on the top buff. And still a 3v2 here. And Tramodex and Oki, they cannot really hold this super well. We do actually see Pain able to lock Misha on the bottom buff, so no support available. So they might even be able to get a quick kill on him if there's no response. But I think Boyce should be able to make it after grabbing the top buff to assist his support Guardian.
Yeah, and again, the lack of support hurts you in these sort of situations. I said at the beginning of the game, a map like Temple can sort of enable comps that don't go for team fights, that kind of try and go around the map and spread out a little bit more, try and go for rotations, and that's true. But the problem is, if you're behind, that means you're forced to fight for more nodes. You're forced to fight for nodes, you're forced to fight for points more or the buffs, than maybe you would be normally. And if you're also behind, you're just going to have less players on the map in general. Blue team have been staggered and consistently losing a player or two here and there since that sort of big wipe we saw when the first illness buff came up. And so when you don't have that support, it's a lot harder for you to hold on to those things. You don't have that signet, you don't have that instant res capability, you don't have the healing that'll just keep those fights going longer, those contests fighting longer when you do have people coming in from respawn. And it's so much harder, I think, when you get staggered without a support to come back. And we see that really plainly here. Red team also just abusing that very well, I think. And that's going to be a game. Yep. Kind of close to the beginning, but as soon as buffs came up, as soon as there was a big wipe from Blue team, they lost a lot of players. They didn't really push back into the map properly. They didn't really wait to regroup at all, and they didn't really have a chance to come back. So, GG's. Yep, that's going to be into that. That 6 cap coming through, even for a few moments, is unbelievably painful. I think. And we actually we have a very interesting going on here. Go ahead and go to the how do I play this game. It's like towards the bottom, I believe. I think. Oh, wait, where is it actually? Yeah. How do I play this versus draw? Yeah, versus draw. Interesting game here. It's kind of the NA gang, by the way. Funny enough, is who this is. It's Benzo playing with, I'm not sure who Classic Beats is, but obviously it's Eternity there. There on the blue team, and I think there are 3 NA players, I think, on this team, with Benzo and Drace being the EU representatives. I think they're from EU. I think Drace is EU as well. But yeah, Drace is EU.
There you go.
He was on the blue team.
Exactly, on the blue team.
Like the team called the blue team.
Ah, yes.
In the HCL.
Yeah. That's not confusing at all. Yeah, he's also on the blue team here.
And he is in the blue team, yeah.
So that makes sense. Yeah, he's obviously rigged that to make sure that he remains being on the blue team the entire time. Very close so far. Gornet could potentially be in trouble here. Benzo looking to try and find a kill. The Lich is very scary. But is it scary enough? Gornet down to 10% health or so. Doesn't have his heal yet. Does have Necromancer, and he is going for core this time. I think that makes sense, especially given the map. He's not going to be able to get as much value out of the support. He needs to be a bit more self-sufficient. So core Necromancer is the way to go in this regard. But actually, Benzo was driven away then. Fly on the hunt, actually. No defensive cooldowns left over, I think, for Benzo, although he's able to run away just in time. Gets the decap here, but at the cost of Drace.
Look at that. I like that. I like that turnaround from Fly. Just immediately cluster bombs and kills Drace. It's nice. It's starting to go for the buff, but then just kind of 180 no-scoped him.
That's
he's going to find a pretty low Necro, but huge fear. Yeah.
That's a juicy chain right there. But the Necro's too low, and Fly on a rampage gets another kill.
Drace self-reses.
Wait, no! Oh, no! That is tragic.
This is what I said. Fly just coin flipping, man? Every day, dude. Although, wait, he does
it's close. Signet.
Outseen in play.
Oh, there we go. But the poison does deny it. Dra comes in. It's a rally war. Gornet taking pressure, but Benzo arrives.
Stop. You should get it.
Oh, my God. He actually got that.
Wow. Dude, what a series of events that was.
I just kind of won the game for Red, actually. That might be it. Yeah, because Blue had to commit so much to that. They committed so hard to getting that kill, and now they're kind of losing the map, and they don't have that much time to really get back into it. Benzo 1v1 to Gornet now, but Fly is arriving. That lack of the thief on the blue team, I mean, that Benzo won't get any assistance for a while. Lands a very good supply crate, forcing Gornet to teleport, but the high ground with that fearing and the Necromancer pressure. It's going to be too much for Benzo. Wow.
Yeah. Do you think that Fly knows that he spelled his name backwards?
No.
Yeah.
He's unaware. He doesn't have the information.
It's unfortunate, yeah.
Blue is trying to hold on.
But, yeah... Close match, it looks like in the beginning. If we look at the timeline here, it does kind of start to get away a little bit at the first buff, it looks like, for Red Team. And then, again, here, you can see here, started to stabilize a little bit, but then the second buff came up, and Red Team just maintained that lead. So, Probably GG. Probably game here for the red team. They pretty easily win off of one note, I'd say. But still, yeah, keeping it competitive. You like to see it?
It's very close. I mean, if there's a Necromancer 1v1 going on here, like if either Necro was to win, that would be a huge deal. Red Necromancer a little bit ahead and Fly moving in for the +2. That might actually be a potential disaster here for the blue team if they were to lose this buff. Yeah, because like this Necro's very low on cooldown, doesn't have much Shroud left over. Oh, 0.1 second on that, can't quite make it. That's going to force the Guardian to drop down, I think. Yeah, here's Eternity, can't get that revival, and yeah, this is going to be very annoying for this guy to hold into 2 deadly damage players here who have to burn every single cooldown just to hold on, and I think we need to see some help for Eternity. Blue team do have the double cap. I think that's actually not good enough. They actually need to neutralize this node 2. Yeah, Adelanti knows it and just kind of AFKs it to try and deny that. Does feel compelled to push onto the map to help Dra, who does need a lot of help here as well. Benzo looking to try and find that kill, too, as we have 3 blue team players coming back here, but with support that should stabilize quite nicely. Meanwhile, Necromancer into the Guardian here is now joined by Drace on Thief, will then replace the Guardian so the Guardian can get back out on the map, but oh, it's blue. They've got like 30 seconds to make something happen, right? They're running out of time.
I think at this point, I mean, if they can't get the decap, which it doesn't look like, yeah, they really needed to get the buff. They're losing 2 players on the map. A little bit of a gamble from Fly. They were in a 1v2 and then a 2v2 and Drace plus bottom. He actually left Cookie Queen alone to go for the decap on mid, which eventually pulled the Guardian away. I don't think this was a great rotation from Eternity. I think, you know, he realized his team was kind of losing the rest of the map and he wanted to try and help them, but it was just a little bit too little too late. I think if they'd been able to get that kill into the Necro on bottom buff, maybe they would have been able to find the cap, but Fly just slowing down their point gain, pulling the Guardian away, and then the Necro not dying kind of just stopped them from being able to get that buff. But still, yeah, a close game. Looks like, you know, blue team, they did some good stuff. You know, they had some good plays. You know, who knows? Maybe we'll see them a little bit in the future, doing some good stuff, you know?
Yeah, and the Dra team continue their win streak so far. We're going to go directly into 7 Deadly Sins versus How Do I Play. This will be the Benzo team. That's going to be a pretty interesting game, I think. But the other one would be Dra into the Master of Disaster. Be one curious to take a look at, too.
Yeah, that could be a pretty good one.
But I've got to say,
it is.
I don't want to drop the hype. I don't want to drop the hype right now, right? But I'm struggling to see a team that will beat the All-Stars team currently.
Yeah, I mean, I think Dra's team is looking pretty strong. And I do think that the 7 Deadly Sins team, like, if they, like, really, I think there was one major mistake they made in that Temple game when they just allowed themselves to get ultra staggered. And maybe if we see them, try and avoid that. The other thing, too, is we could see Aeon stay Guardian, and they could just try and match the team fight. We haven't obviously seen that happen yet. And again, I don't know that necessarily it'll make a difference. I think Misha is probably one of the stronger support players in the game, funnily enough, after swapping to support. And also the rest of the team fight players on that team are just extremely competent. But I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens. Also, just to mention, Quaggins versus Quarantine Crusaders could be a decent match if you want to check that one out. But we can do whatever.
Yeah, right now I'm in the Made in Meta game. It's a team that it's up and coming team, right? Take a look at this: MIM Ace, MIM Atrastia, Xenox, okay, Karsten, MIMN, okay, just there at the end on the Thief. Very short name there, short and to the point, but I'm not sure. What do you think is going to be the way to go, Roy? It's going to be an interesting game. These are, a few... I think Quaggins on Duty versus Quarantine Crusaders might actually be one of the highest quality games there to take a look at.
Okay. Yeah, we could do that. That's a great suggestion, Teapot. If only I'd thought of that.
Yeah. I think you did.
Yeah, if only. Yeah. That's true. Yeah, we can take a look at that one. Let's do it.
I'm going in.
Oh, Stern on... Wait, they're actually taking a page from the Quaggins book. They're going Scourge.
Yes, it's going to be... Is it just full DPS? Oh, it's actually not full DPS. It's actually the old build, actually. Just the annoying roadblock Scourge. Name, man. What is the name, actually? Name. Fat Brain Gamer. Yeah, and it's Minion Monster, too. A very appropriate character name for the build in question. You love to see that. Oh, Andreas on the second Necromancer gets brutally +1 here by the Quaggins on Duty. Loses almost all of his health. Can he hold on there? No, he can't. Is there a revival here from Kran? No, he got interrupted. He got Mantrid, actually. And that might be a very good start for the Quaggins.
Yeah. Yeah, really, really good... interrupt onto Cran, sets that onto a 15-second cooldown. He does not have a chance to get the second glyph out. He honestly probably would have. Really good breach from Stern, denying a lot of the cleave there from blue team, but just immediately opening up on the Necro there, stopping Cran from being able to glyph and glyph a second time as well, or attempt to, I should say. And yeah, great start for them. They haven't won too much off of it. We do see some value coming out from Maya. Nice job getting that decap onto far. She is going to stay there. Cran blinking onto the node, but unfortunately it's a little bit too late, and he's not going to be able to stop that from happening. But they kind of trade side nodes, and there's a kill onto mid now. Zenvo rotating in there a little bit too late. Vampire Kid is going to be taken out there. Demolish, and they'll have to rotate out. So double cap potentially. Not double cap, excuse me. Single cap here for red team enabled and held on to.
Yeah, exactly right. I think Zenvo might fall as well. That Thief, I don't think is going to allow the Mirage to escape so easily. The Mirage does make it actually all the way to the support Guardian in Cran and Andreas. So once again, taking a beating on this node, as of course the rest of the red team is starting to move in. And yeah, Cranel gets caught in the crossfire there. Zenvo low too, has to leave that fight. The Signet did not come through. I believe the Tornado was able to actually deny it. Save it for it again, but no, there's a Tornado again, and it's shut down. And all of a sudden 4v2 against the Quaggles on duty, and Benny falls. Saber tries to disengage, and he was able to actually get out of here. Still has a few cooldowns left over, but I think things look bleak for the support Guardian right now.
Yeah, you know, really good stuff from red team. You know, the beginning of that game, or that, you know, the engage there from blue team looked really strong. They obviously got the quick kill on to Stern, or excuse me, rather, Andreas. They were able to, you know, interrupt the Signet from Cran, the glyph. And, you know, things were looking good for them. But then Maya had some really good value on the map, didn't overstay onto far, got the decap, got back into mid, picked up a kill. They were able to push back on to Dragon and win that fight pretty hard as well. And the main thing there is they didn't just get one kill and then stop. They got 3 kills, and where blue team were only able to get 1. And so I'd say that was probably the big difference there. One kill is not as good as 3.
Yeah, that's true. You know, numbers are indeed very important in this game. Blue team do actually play it fairly smart, though. You know, I'm almost surprised to see the red team not go a bit more aggressive and push. I guess they just didn't want to greed and accidentally throw the game there. But they play very, very safe and allow blue team to fully recover.
Well, Fefe with her fat brain has gone and gotten the top buff, and bottom buff being contested right now by the Thieves. Thief 1v1. Oh, but there's smoke screen. Wait, is he going to be able to get it? He does.
Oh, yoinks it.
Big brain from Cranel. Yeah, yoinked it right under from Maya's fingers, which were a little slippery and blinded, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a nice pickup, actually.
Yeah, buffs confirmed. Sword a little bit stronger, I'd say, than the shield buff, potentially.
Yep, I think particularly for the composition that the Quaggan's running, like very bursty, very roamy, right? That will certainly help them in breaking through these Necromancers. Just want to briefly point out, right, it is a triple Necromancer composition for the red team. You know, yeah, double core Necro from Andreas and Feifei.
You know what, man, I'm really glad to see that. Like, Necro's just been out of the meta for so long.
Yeah.
It's felt so honestly, I forgot that was a class in Guild Wars 2. Like, I was playing Guild Wars 1 the other day, and I saw a Necromancer, and I was like, man, they should really add that class to Guild Wars 2, because I literally never see it. So I'm really glad that the recent balance changes have made it strong and come back into the meta, and we can see a team run 3 of them.
Oh yeah, you know, it's good to have that flexibility, right? You
3 of the same class on one team.
Oh yeah, it's
out of
good
5.
To see. No, you like to see it, you really do. By the way, Grouch, thanks for the tier 1 sub, dude. You know,
is Grouch here? Oh my god! I take it all back. I'm gonna get him partnered again.
Yeah, you're done, dude. You are actually done. Hey, look, you've been noted, right? You've now been noted there in the chat. Roy is on the naughty list, even more so. Okay, GVG is going back to the not real game mode category in ArenaNet H quarters right now.
We kind of were like peeking around the corner, and Grouch just punched us in the face.
Yup, you're back, okay? You're back in the trash can. And well, the Quaggans, you know, as that happens, okay, they want to prove you wrong about Necromancer. And look, they're showing everyone that Necromancer, not murder. They kill 2 of them almost instantly, but they do trade one of their own Revenants out. But the Quaggans, well, honestly, they don't really get anything done with that. I'm not going to lie. I was like, wow, they're going to control the map. But actually, no, they aren't. They didn't really do anything. Feels bad.
I gotta be honest, I actually think Maya's rotating really, really well this game. I mentioned this in the Legacy game into whatever team they were fighting at the time, Nemesis team. And, you know, I felt like her rotations maybe a little bit slower than they could have been, a little bit less impactful, but I think her rotations so far on this map have been really, really good. Not having a ton of pluses so much as, although, you know, there have been 1 or 2, as just, like, doing a really good job of keeping far decapped a lot, keeping an eye on the buffs, obviously, when they come up, But just in general, I think getting a lot more value on this map than we've seen, than we saw her on Legacy. And I think that's actually a huge part of why Red Team are ahead right now. But Red Team also just, obviously, with the triple Necro comp, switching it up from what they were playing before, maybe having a little bit better value than when Andreas was on the Nade Hollow. The Scourge, obviously, providing a ton of extra sort of buffs in that team fight, which, you know, maybe they're lacking a little bit with Cran on the Tempest as opposed to the Core Guardian. So maybe it just kind of, you know, it pads them a little bit with some barrier.
Yeah, you know, a little bit. You know, why run Guardian when you can run Scourge and Tempest, right? You know, you can just get both of them in there at the same time. You know, the Scourge is one that I'm almost a little bit surprised to see actually be played by Red. You know, it is so vulnerable to the Thief and the Mirage that it doesn't seem like a natural pick, but it does add a lot of condition cleanse and some extra sustain to the team fight, which is certainly helping the Red team win, and they just get another decisive victory too, killing Saber and Benny. You know, we're seeing Zenvo and Cranel go for the buff. They're going to grab the shield, and well, Cranel's going to need that. He's about to die. Well, the good news is the shield actually should bring him back to life. Yeah, there you go, before he gets executed by the sword buff, but it's a good thing he got that buff because he died immediately afterwards as Maya came in there to get the stomp there and get the kill. Zenvo is going to fall, and I think this game is a little bit over, Roy. The Quaggons have been scattered a little bit. You know, they're being beaten down by the triple Necromancer, and, well, the brick wall of green is maybe a little bit too much for them.
Yes, the green color and the minions. And the barrier.
Yeah.
That's what Necromancer is. Barrier, green.
Isn't
there another green class? No.
There's Ranger. Ranger, I believe.
Not really.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not really.
I really hate to call this out, Roy. You know, it feels a little toxic to do so, but the last Ranger player in the game, Cole Summers, he's actually a League of Legends main now.
Aeon played Ranger. We saw her play Ranger against.
That's true.
You know, Misha's team.
Okay, that is true actually.
They lost.
So there's still one more.
Pretty badly.
There's still like another Ranger out there.
Yeah. Oh, big lift from Cran.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, Cole Summers, playing League.
He watched Arcane and was like, "Holy shit, that game looks great."
I wonder how many like new League players. Guild Wars 2 should make an anime. You know? There'd be so many gamers in there if it was done well.
Can you imagine?
I could be in it.
You're addicted to Guild Wars 2 and ecto gambling, and then you finally break free of Guild Wars 2, and what game do you end up getting addicted to? League of Legends. Like, holy shit. Like man can't catch a break, you know? Like,
yeah. Unlucky. I mean, you know, League is kind of fun. I play like a couple games every year.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know, man. Good luck, Cole, in your ranked grind, assuming you're playing ranked in League.
Yeah.
One day Ranger will be seen again.
Well, Untamed, right? Untamed is about to pop.
True.
It's big.
True.
Big new elite specialization.
Actually, it might be good in World Wars World 2.
Yeah, I mean, all that boon room, right? Pretty cool stuff, right? Exciting. Exciting times for Ranger enjoyers. The fight is continuing here. You know, the game actually did not come to quite a decisive end just yet, but I do think it is difficult for the blue team to really come back here. Like, they're getting a little bit done, but they're bleeding off players there. Cranel goes down. Benny maybe about to fall here on the middle node. He's going to have to disengage there and leave his team outnumbered for a while. And there's just too much power here. Like, you know, there's just Necros everywhere. Like, you know, you can't rotate around the Necromancer when there's actually 3. There's 1 for each node right now. That's probably the logic behind the 3rd here from the red team. So wherever they go, there will be at least 1. Yeah, Lich Form coming through onto Zenvo from Fat bringing him. Oh, it lands. And yeah, I think it's time to maybe look at another game, Roy. That is not really going anywhere, I'm afraid.
Yeah, there's not a lot of score lines that look like they're too close in the other matches. I've just kind of been
browsing.
Glance at it.
Browse.
But, I mean, the first game... Oh, no, never mind. First game not close at all. Yeah, it looks like this round not necessarily the most competitive across the board there.
It's interesting to see 7 Deadly Sins actually perform extremely well here, right? You know, into the How Do I Play This team, the Benzo team. They're kind of getting... Oh, so rather the Benzo team's kind of getting crushed here. Not gonna lie. 120 points to 430. I'm going for the Druid, the trademark Aeon build, I would say, actually, is the Druid.
Talking about Ranger.
Yeah, Ranger is here. You know, I think it's not even a meme. I actually do think that right now the best Ranger build might actually be Druid. You know, it's just so annoying. Like, if you don't answer it, it just farms you. I mean, base range is pretty good. And Soulbeast is okay too.
Knockbacks are strong, bro.
Yeah. And look, and it's especially when you can knock someone into the terrain, right? Then they've got a relog. It's pretty good.
Yeah. That's That's awesome. But yeah, no, it looks like, you know, I like that they're changing things up. There's also a warrior. All right, hold on, wait a minute.
Whoa,
796
warrior
playing
too?
ranger and warrior in the
my
same
goodness.
comp. What is this, dude? They're just memeing. They're trolling, right? They have to be griefing themselves.
But they also won, so they're griefing the enemy more, I guess.
I don't know, dude. Ranger and warrior in the same team. What is this?
Yeah, this
isn't
made
this
up.
isn't HOT.
Some kind of fictional gameplay here. Is there anything else going on? I think all the other games have kind of come to their conclusion, I believe. Looking at these ones here. There's another game going on here. I'm just going to jump into it. The Avatar game versus Come and Get Them. But yeah, blue... Oh, this one's close, actually. But I think it is going to be won by the blue team, unfortunately. Well, I mean, not unfortunately. Fortunately for them, unfortunately for the red team. And there's no hype because the blue team is winning and there's no possibility of a comeback as the red team is dead, unfortunately. Arya Stark, Hexhausted, dead. And that means blue team wins. Congratulations there to the blue team. Held the Xanax fanboy. Iconist, Last
Xanax?
Wish. And sure, actually, you might know these players, actually, Roy. Two members of Rat, actually, here on the blue team.
That's unfortunate.
The Rat Gamers making their plays in the monthly automated tournament. Yes, Rat, a.k.a. Inhuman Trash. Known for their exploits in GVG. Or at least interfering with GVG. Lycra and Adam win trading exposed. I mean, are you just saying that? Or is there actual evidence?
The bottom of the bottom. Yo, I don't know who that Juice guy is, but he's right on.
Yeah.
What a good name, too. The Juicy.
The Juice.
He's not wrong, though.
Wow.
Teapot wins trade, too. Oh, my God. It's Bland
True.
Thrax.
Okay, next round, Roy. That round was a little bit Resident
Rank
Sleeper.
10 Elementals.
Now we're moving on. We are now moving on here, guys. Okay.
Keep it up, Final Fantasy, thanks.
The Phoenix 5. It's a very interesting team here, actually. It's Joby, Malgus, Barbie, Medica, okay, Korkir, and it's Sheng Jin Wapzuo on Thief. Well, holy shit, this guy's playing an insane build. He's playing Impact Strike as well. That is some high energy right there. Anyway, now I know who they are. Let's go watch the other game. I'm in. Yeah.
What do
you mean?
Dude, Lord Job is Pog.
He is Pog, actually. Okay. So, here we are on Forest, Roy. It's Outsane in play, draw, fly on the Thief, Gornet. On Core Necromancer. Atalante on support gun. And another Core Necromancer. Just because Blam Track is here. Seeing that double Core Necro makes him so happy. And here we go again here from Cookie Queen. And the blue team's going to be Aeon on the Druid again. Tramrax on Ranger.
Yeah, you know, I mean, like you said before, I think the Druid is a pretty good choice when they don't really have someone else they want to try and send to side nodes. She'll be able to survive a lot longer in pluses than she would be able to on the Core Ranger as well. She won't be able to necessarily kill something 1v1, or shouldn't be able to, but yeah. Pain a little bit under pressure, though, from Cookie Queen. It does die to the last Torment tick there. Unfortunately, I think maybe just getting caught in some sort of burst there. You're going to see Aeon coming in, trying to save Pain here, but the node has been capped there for red team so far. The damage has been done, and blue team a little bit slower start than they would have liked. Yeah, and they're really fully committing to this strategy. They're running the double side node, right? Tramadex on Spellbreaker and Aeon on the Druid, and they're just going to try and simply out-rotate this. But, I mean, I hate to be incredibly pessimistic, Roy, but I think we might be about to see a classic example of why this doesn't work very well in the current meta. Because these Necromancers, Double Gauntlet and Cookie Queen, are just going to be such a problem. It will take too long to break through all of this. With the fast rotations from Fly, solid roaming here from Dra, and the support from Atalante, I'm really not expecting this to work very well for blue team whatsoever. Like, there's a reason why a lot of the really top teams don't even run side noders. They just run necros at this point, right? Because you can't really generate kills fast enough for dedicated side noders to really be worth it. Yeah, we're going to see Pain attempt to go for a res here onto Aeon. And obviously, if she can get to the pet res, it's definitely possible. Oki as well making his way over from mid, and he does get the res here. So this is pretty good rotation from Pain. Especially because this is actually really detrimental to red team. They finally got the kill onto the Druid. You have to invest so many resources. Fly was here for so long. Oh, Signet going to be Very, very nicely denied there by Oki, and Pain with that stop on to Cookie Queen. But after committing so many resources, big kill on him as well, into the Druid, and then just getting it rezzed right under your noses there, that's actually got to hurt them a lot. And side notes will go the way to blue team. This is a pretty good position for them to be in. They do have a down state here, as Mia's is going to be taken out at Henge. But they already have pressure onto mid now with Fly and Oki over there. Red team kind of over-rotating into Henge maybe a little bit, and obviously the couple of kills picked up for them as well is going to help them there. So this is a really good job from blue team to come back into this map. Huge res from Pain on Aeon.
Yeah, they were determined to prove me wrong. The caster curse kicking in full effect there, with both those kills secured on Cookie Queen and, of course, onto Shuriken Adelanti at the same time. But they'll be respawning very shortly, and Fly actually 1v1ing in the duel spot. They've actually forgotten they're playing Conquest. They're actually doing a best of 17 right now, instead of doing that. Oh, Fly remembers he's playing Conquest and decides to leave. I'm joking, of course, right? He was just looking for a quick kill in reality, but it's just kind of funny that that's how it turned out. And Dra does as well. There's actually a bit of a stagger on red team. Like, if blue can keep this up and keep getting a kill again and again and again, they're going to find themselves in a good spot. But I think the next kill is going to be harder to get because they're going to have to start looking at Necromancers now. They killed the squishy stuff. They killed Dra. But killing a Necro with the support guard is going to be a lot harder to do.
Yes. Guys, Guild Wars 2 is not dead. As you can see, we are, in fact, watching it live right now. This isn't pre-recorded from 3 years ago. So, therefore, you're all wrong. This isn't a dead game. Regardless, though, we're going to find another kill onto Shuriken, chained into a kill onto Gornet. And this is kind of the opposite of what we saw blue team when they were fighting on Temple into Misha's team. They're, this looks like, what the beginning of that game looked like, where they were finding kills here and there, and they were kind of chaining those into other kills. They were constantly staggering the other team, and they're doing it very well here. And red team haven't regrouped the way that Misha's team did onto Temple. They haven't been able to find a counter. There's also no secondary map mechanic that sort of spawns the way that the buffs do on Temple. Obviously the beasts are here, but they're not really relevant. Neither team really opting to try and go for them right now, so there's no reason for blue team to have to try to contest them. And right now they're just playing this map very, very well. I do think, again, obviously the Druid going to be a really good choice here for Aeon. It's much harder for them to kill her. They have to commit so many resources into it, although at this point it looks like she might be taken out here. 3 players on her, although Shuriken's starting to leave. And she gets away. The stealth from Oki might get her out. Oh, no.
Not quite enough.
Big nades coming out
from though.
Dra, and he's going to be able to get her. But yeah, Oki could get that res. Big days from downstate as well, and he is going to be able to get her back up.
Now, what I think we are going to see here is a proper regroup here from the red team. Like, we saw that Adelanti and Gornet, I believe, were on Henge, and that's where they died. But now they've respawned and they're pushing out from their base. That should give them the ability to resustain themselves and actually regroup properly. That was obviously a lot harder to do when you're trying to rotate your team very far away from your own spawn. This is no longer the case. They're actually going to go for another far push here, which is a little bit of an interesting strategy. They're just going to try and sit the Guardian and maybe the Horsewhip of the Necromancer here instead at this point. But this, of course, leaves the other side of the map very, very open. I'm surprised to see them not focus more on 2 nodes that are adjacent, right? Like the middle node and either close or far here, because they just bleed another player. And blue team's strategy is actually working. I feel that red team perhaps playing into it a little bit, though, and not really making their own game plan, the tempo for the game.
You know what, man? Oh, wow. Oki actually getting destroyed by Chieftain Utenheim. Unfortunately, proccing his Elixir S, and he's going to get run down by red team. He was kind of winning that 1v1 into Gornet, and then the Chieftain decided to just get involved and pull him, CC him to death. Gornet actually almost dying to Chieftain as well. PvE too strong for these players, man. They really got to get into some raids with you, I think, Teapot. But either way, they're going to be able to pick up a kill, and the Beast goes the way of blue team. And they
I don't believe it. Aeon are actually carrying this game to an insane degree. Steelvis does give up her life for it, though, but that is an insane steal. And red team committed so much to that. They're not getting anything done, and they're still on this far node here. I know, I do have to question this.
Dude, I swear, man, I would love to see, metrics somehow of how many games, not even games, but just moments on Forest have been, thrown on Beast. Dude, these teams literally have to go into, some sort of training lobby and practice rotations against Svanir and Chieftain, man, because they just... you see so many times where people just get messed... Literally almost died when he had a support on top of him to it. That shit hurts, man.
Yeah, everything got CMCW'd, but the Beast did not somehow escape the nerf bat. So we're going to need to see a 33% damage reduction. Can we get a power scaling reduction, please, on Chief and Udenheim? That's what we need to see in the next patch. Never mind Necromancer, nerf the Beast. Red team very far behind, and it's halfway into the game. Like, this is difficult for them to come back in. Again, you know, we talked about this a little bit earlier with the Quarantine Crusaders game. If you are playing a comp like the red team, you kind of want to get ahead early, right? You want to really smash the early team fights. That didn't happen. Blue team did a fantastic job of denying them.
I think they need to get into their heads. They have to actually finish kills. Oh, Fly almost getting stuck in terrain there. Big mage main tether from Traumos pulled him into some terrain, but he's going to be able to get out. And Pain coming in with the plus. Fly might be able to make his way out. Both thieves in stealth at the moment. But, you know, I think when they had that early kill into Aeon, they really needed to actually finish that kill and then pressure the other nodes and, again, stagger Blue Team. Because if Blue Team gets into a situation where they're staggered hard, it's going to be much harder for them to come back into it. Red Team, though, they got staggered and they really didn't do a good job of coming back into it. And they haven't done a good job of picking up any kills like they did earlier on against Aeon before she got rezzed. They haven't really done a good job of holding up the nodes. Pain, as well as there's Trauma constantly pushing far. Oki, Pain rotating in with as well. Doing a really good job of keeping pressure on to Mine. We see it now getting capped, but it literally took like a minute and a half with 3-4 players on the side of the map to cap that. Blue Team just doing a really good job of rotating. We do see Red Team in a bit of a better state here now. They have split up Blue Team a little bit better. They have kind of gotten their nodes back, but it's taken them so long. If they don't hold on to these for the rest of the game, they probably will lose.
Oh, no. Gauntlet's in the wall. Oh, he worms out, though. He actually is able to get out with a flesh worm. But Aeon, I have never seen that before, actually. Gauntlet getting knocked into this rock pillar over here. That is quite amusing. Although, because Gauntlet was able to escape, she is going to die. Yeah, well, she should have done a better job. She should have knocked him deeper into the rock tree. Couldn't have escaped there. But big misplay there from Aeon. But that's a nice kill secured. And Red Team starting to get back into it, as you say. If they could get a few more kills. Oh, no. Aeon with the self-res, though. Oh, no. Gauntlet should be able to get the stop now, I think.
Yeah. Wait.
Oh, hang on.
Interrupted once.
Oh, no. No.
Oh, dude, that was so close. But he didn't get the... Look, again, that just delays the cap. Ugh, man, Ranger's busted, dude.
Ranger downstage is on another level right there.
I'm going to call Boyce out. If Boyce doesn't play Ranger in the finals, assuming they go up against Pain and Aeon's team, I'm just calling... He's a coward, man. I'm going to say it right now.
Yeah, I mean, Aeon really showing that with the correct strategy and the correct play, you can definitely make Ranger have some insane value in a lot of these games. Again, because here's the problem. Necromancer, it's funny, you know, everyone's complaining about Necromancer. Necromancer has no answer, Druid. Like, Gauntlet is worthless here. Like, he might as well be the beast at this point. Like, he's useless. It's not even a joke. Like, he can't do anything. Into
Look
the
at him, he's in mode.
Yeah, he's
what's
like,
he gonna
what's he
do,
going to do? Yeah, Aeon won't die to
press
this.
his cleanse? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and Aeon is going to slowly win, right? We'll slowly win the cap here.
Oh, yeah. You know, you think that having like a 50k health shroud is going to do much for you? No, you don't have stability on Necro. Like,
True.
You can't stop these knockbacks. You know? Yeah, look at this.
Dude,
She gets the cap.
Aeon is just the Giga Chad. She's like, dude, why bother killing 50k HP? She doesn't bother. She just knocks it off the point instead, right? Like, there you go.
Yeah, she will die though. Fly with a nice plus here. And I do have to say, I think that this is kind of a nice job from Red Team. They are, I think, handling this Druid a little bit better than they were in the beginning of that game, or the beginning of this game. But again, look at the other side of the map. Jesus Christ in downstate, potentially going to be taken out here. Draw trying to go for res, but I don't think it's going to happen with Trauma and Pain there. Adelante was just killed out on mid. Blue Team. And, you know, they're not even losing the henge either. They get decapped, but they're not losing it. We do see the rotation from Oki and Mia's off to the side as well after getting those kills on mid. And they're probably going to get the cap after because Garnet and Fly have to leave.
Yeah.
And Garnet might even get picked up. He doesn't have a support on the map right now. Fly can't help him. The rest of his team's on the other side of the map getting killed. Yeah, I mean, this is really well played from Blue Team.
This is kind of game over. I mean, I don't see any way to recover now. There's actually not enough time in the game, really. Yeah, it's GG at this point. Yeah. Blue is going to completely dominate here and destroy this. And I'm kind of thinking about the comp here. Like, do you maybe think that we need to see Draw on Herald if we see a rematch here instead of the Hollow? Just be a little bit faster around the map because I think the problem was just that Red Team were just too slow. They could not keep up with this composition here from the Blue Team.
I unironically think, and I mean, there certainly had to be like other moments, right? I mean, that Beast going the way Blue Team didn't help. How long it took them in certain situations to get kills, to get caps and stuff didn't help. But I unironically think that res from Pain on A in the beginning of the game was almost like the beginning of the end for them, because if they had snowballed off of killing Aeon and then just pushed that into the rest of the map, blue team would have been really hard staggered, and if they hadn't recovered, they probably would have lost. But that never happened because Pain got that res, and it took them so long to get the kill initially and so long to do anything afterwards that they just really never had a chance to like get ahead and abuse their team fight comp. And blue team just easily out-rotated them the rest of the game. So I don't know, man. I mean, maybe I'm putting too much into one res there, but I actually think that was one of the most impactful parts of the game.
Yeah, I think the early game is crucial for both of those comps, right? For different reasons. The red team needs to get needs to stagger the enemy team so they can control the map, and the blue team need to build up their momentum and just never stop getting kills and picking off players. And well, it went the way of the blue team there. They were able to continually get kills throughout the entirety of the match, and red team was never able to correctly stabilize. I've got into another game. I think it's the last game going here. It's Workaholics, I believe.
Tupac, yeah.
Yep.
Tupac Shakur is here.
Yep. He's not dead, just playing Guild Wars 2. Kind of the same thing, I suppose. Depends on who you ask. But I think I'm going too hard, man, okay? Like,
no, that was funny. It was good. It was good.
All right, but anyway.
If Grad shouldn't find that funny, he just doesn't like Tupac.
So, it's a very close match, just 30 points in, and blue team picking themselves up a double cap here, 2 minutes on the clock. A triple cap, actually, somehow. Blue team in a great spot. Can they find another kill? Actually, we have a kill here onto the forklift operators, Hollowsmith. Not quite, though. The Guardian coming in for some support. Hollow ends up falling.
Yeah, he does.
Is that kill confirmed? There should be stability, I think. Yep, there is from the Guardian.
Is he playing Great Sword Mirage? Oh my god, he's
Storm
playing Power Mirage.
Yeah, this is Easy Work. Yeah, Easy Work is a... He'll be playing Portal too. Yep, he's playing Portal because Easy Work is a Power Mirage enjoyer. However, I think I've just joined and cursed them. They're dead in this game.
He's a Power Mirage enjoyer. He is not a Guild Wars 2 PvP game winner enjoyer.
Unfortunately not. I mean, they were actually winning the game. Look at the score. They crushed the game, and now they've just flatlined about two-thirds in. What do you do here as red? You almost have to like get this kill and then go double beast.
I think you realize the game's unwinnable. I don't know, man. Like, they had 2 people dead. They're just coming in off respawn. Unless they can somehow wipe all of blue team in the next 5 seconds.
They get a kill.
Well, that's 1. 4 more.
Yeah.
But they have 2 players on the wrong side of the map, so...
And Necro here on mid, just AFKing Spocker, holding that point is going to be insurmountable. And this won't get decapped either, I don't think. I don't think there's enough time left.
There's no way. It's GG.
Yeah,
well
that's going to be it. Yeah, I mean, that's a very unfortunate loss for the red team there. Like, it sucks to have that, like, massive leading. Great start for them, but unfortunately the blue team rallied. They played well, they kept their cool, and they regained their advantage in the game and ended up winning it 5-1 to 4-3-8, just as we join.
Yeah, very cool. I'm going to grab a protein shake, so I'll be back in 1 second.
Ooh, nice. Okay, we're going to go into the next round then while we wait. Oh, yeah, it's because it's a 6-round automated tournament, guys. There's a lot going on here. Big AT today. Huge AT. Yeah, I cursed the red team. Sorry about that, guys. So let's go ahead and take a look here. What are the interesting games going to be here? We're missing the Frenchies here, right? We're really missing the Frenchies, guys, because that would be that kind of extra team to mix in to really compete with these other top ones. Yeah, we need the French. Like, now more than ever, we need the French back in Guild Wars 2. But I think this round is actually maybe not going to be that good. There you go.
I'll tell you how to fix this problem, though, Mr. Crazy Jug. Basically, here's what you got to do. If you don't want random players who you don't know screwing you over, find 4 friends and play with them regularly. And then not only can you count on them more than randoms, but they'll also, with you, become a stronger team by playing together over longer periods of time. And then you'll do better in the ATs. Oh my god. Amazing.
I've just jumped into the 7 Deadly Sins game, and, it's interesting. We see a bit of a switch-up. Aeon going for Support Guardian, Tramonex going for the Revenant here, and they're going to go for the flat-out team fight, and it is going fairly well for them. They're cleaning this up fairly effectively. Red team lose their Support Guardian. They're going to have to disengage that fight, but they actually did get a little bit of advantage on the map early on. But Pain will be going to reset that instantaneously after leaving that fight. Aeon does die. If she got confirmed, that would be really scary. Is there enough cleave? I think there is with the Necromancer. Pain may be leaving a little bit too early, actually, as Tramonex goes down too. Mia's also in trouble. Oki falling. That Revenant should actually not be able to ride this. And all of a sudden, Pain left and the fight actually completely inverts, and the red team end up taking the first team fight.
Pain's pride getting the better of him.
You know what
And he has left the fight
Yes.
early. Ha.
And, you know, pride comes before a fall. And as the blue team falls in the team fight,
And
apparently.
the rest of his team certainly fell.
Yeah, they took
into
the
the
fall for
downstage.
him. Okay, unfortunate
Yeah.
stuff. You know, Pain did manage to neutralize them out there, which is nice. But now, ooh, Hearthstone Zan versus Pain 1v1. That is a matchup for the ages. I believe it is it's going to be an advantage for Zan. Zan playing with Smokescreen, which will make the 1v1 go in his favor a little. And yeah, Pain just going to go ahead and leave instead, looking to contest the bell. But Red Team pulling a serious upset. I think, you know, I've got to eat my words a little bit, right? I feel like I've been consistently underestimating this Red Team here, actually, but they are seriously doing amazingly in this game. They're going to be going into the first bell with a triple cap almost.
Yeah, it's Druid diff. Aeon's going to swap to Druid.
I mean, it could happen. I mean, if it starts to go very badly, I mean, we could see some relogs. I mean, you don't really want to lose at this stage, right? You know, I think both of these teams have lost, I think.
Well, Seven Deadly Sins lost to Misha's team on Temple.
Yeah.
We obviously haven't seen the rest of the games, but we can assume they've won them all. Red Team, we've only seen them, you know, beat the Quarantine Crusaders. So they've probably done pretty well, but if they did go up against Misha's team, they almost certainly lost as well. So, you know, probably one loss.
Yeah, I mean...
but yeah, this is definitely an important game. Last one before elimination stage. You definitely don't want to be losing. You might not get through.
Red might get this bell. Miaz is here alone. He's actually completely solo into 2 DPS. Yeah, he's got to get out there.
Support out as well.
Oh, wow.
I do see Pain coming in from the side.
Yeah,
He
that's
does
nice,
get a decap, and he's going to be able to rotate in, so they probably can continue to contest this, but this is definitely dangerous. They do have a dedicated support, though, and this could be the reason we see Aeon on the Core Guardian as opposed to the Druid she was playing previously. They really want to have that dedicated support, that res utility for the Bell fights. But the problem is Mia's so pressured, so, you know, already out of his cooldowns because he was alone 1v2 for so long, it's a lot harder for him to stay on that node, and obviously Pain is not going to be able to contest this node very well, so they definitely need to get some other players in here. They do get a kill on the Core Guardian, though, off to the side. That's really, really big. Smoke screen down from Pain as well, or excuse me, from the Red Team Thief. From Zan there, so that is going to put a little bit of pressure there, but I think Blue Team have kind of started to stabilize a return to form here.
Yep, that was a really tough kill on that support guard. It just completely negates the Red Team's ability to fight. They have to just try and stall this now, because they really don't want to yield the bell of a very important mechanic on the Capricorn, and they are doing a good job of slowing it down, and I've got to say, this Weaveroid is such a pain. Secures that node, holds it outnumbered for a while. Now we see Blue rotate towards the bell very aggressively, but again, Nemesis just putting in so much work. Oh, but Zan goes for that revival, a little bit too greedy, obliterated by the cleave. But the Necromancer holds firm and actually gets the tick going the other way on the node. The Core Guardian now responds here, gets back off respawn. They're actually going to continue holding this, especially with the Weaver here. This is a bit of a difficult situation for the blue team here.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they keep on getting kills, as long as they keep on winning the fight, I think it's okay for them. They also, you know, they kind of were in a really dangerous position. When it was just me and Pain on the Bell before, they really weren't in a winning position for the Bell fight. Now they've gotten their team fight here. They've gotten some kills. They've gotten the map back as well. This is okay for them. I don't think it's bad that this is necessarily getting stalled out, especially because they're not playing a Romy comp, right? If Aeon was on Druid, if we did see Trauma on Warrior like we saw in the last game, I think this would be a lot worse for them. But the longer this goes on, if they keep getting kills and holding, you know, a winning map state, although we obviously see a node getting decapped by Zan there, it's not a huge deal for them, even though they are behind. But obviously, it'll be, you know, dependent on the rest of the map. Pain, though, is going to answer that decap by getting one of his own, and so far, so good for the blue team.
Yeah, this team fight now becoming a heavily central area. The timer is certainly ticking right now for the red team. They really want to win this fight because they are losing ground on the map as we speak. They get a kill onto Aeon. That would be good if it's confirmed. Is it confirmed by Zan? Zan going for the stomp, I think. Does he get it?
He puts Smoke Screen down, but he does get CC'd there somehow.
Oh, gets pushed off. But they get, do they get trauma anyway?
Yeah, they do. That's huge. That should be the kill confirmed as well. It was a really bad position for Aeon to die in. Pain couldn't really get up there to res very easily. It took a long time for Oki to get over there. That should be Bell gone. Pain going to be forced to try and contest this. I think they might want to just give this Bell up, though. They'll get another cap. We do see Mia's getting it. Not sure if he rotated out there or if he died and is off of respawn. But again, middle node gets decapped by Zan. And now,
that's free
this
Bell.
Is where... Oh,
there it is.
Trauma relogging.
Oh,
and Aeon.
Oh, yeah, they're gonna go for it. They pulled the trigger. They're gonna go for the warrior and the druid here. So here comes the relog. I almost feel it's a little bit scary.
I mean, red
though.
team should probably just AFK at this point.
Yeah, I mean, red team just need to go and like cap everything. I mean, like, and just like wait until they come back.
Oh no, I meant sit and spawn. The game's over.
Wait, you think so? Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, because Aeon's on Druid, so it's GG. I mean, well, that's a big prediction there. I'm almost a little bit worried about it on this map because the blue team have essentially traded their team fight for this. And don't get me wrong, it absolutely worked out well in the previous game. But this is a map where you do really need to be able to have that team fight or at least stall it. We've seen Aeon do some really good work on this map, being really annoying with the Druid on the Bell, making it take ages to actually capture. But if red team get themselves another Bell, then there could be, that could be a serious lead for them in this game. I think one thing that is really important to note is that first Bell took such a long time that the second one actually didn't spawn. So that's actually quite nice for blue. They won't get that kind of third Bell Giga Snowball with the 75 point until much later in the game. But red team still holding on here.
Yeah. And I mean, part of this is it's going to be dependent on, one of the things that is an issue here for blue team, besides obviously the Bells coming up later on, which now that they don't have that support is going to be a bit harder for them to play around, is again, we were saying this on the Temple game, when they're playing this comp, it's a little bit harder for them to play from behind, in my opinion. They really want to kind of try and secure a lead earlier on and then just play off of it. And now that they are, about 130 points, 140 points behind, it is going to be a lot harder for them to come back, especially when the Bell does spawn. As you mentioned, that second Bell being skipped is actually really good for them. They've neutralized that completely. They have gotten a node. Unfortunately, barely gets the puzzle, but Zan probably should be able to find her. She's actually just standing still, and unfortunately that doesn't work as she's going to die. But she forgot she wasn't playing Mesmer, and she can't pretend to be a clone. But I think if they can find some kills and come back. Oh. Am I going robot?
Don't worry, you're good now. You were a robot, but yeah, they finally get the Weaver off the map. Miaz might be about to fall here. He has some Shroud. He's got 2 seconds on the cooldown. Actually will survive. Zan will not be able to quite get the kill. Yeah, Shroud will save the day here. Necromancer still not in the best spot there. And of course, yeah, the Necromancer couldn't help with going for this kill on Miaz. In fact, a massive turnaround spike. Zan's gonna die. He gets the Necro down there as well. But here comes Pain. The Stomp going through. Zan's got a port. He ports out. The other Necrons should be able to eliminate it. Oh, they're going to get Pain and Miaz. I think red team are in a good spot here. The Bell is up. I think Zan can make it in time to contest. Maybe just barely. Oh, a free Bell will be really good. Can Nemesis blink up there in time? He doesn't have lightning. In fact, he's got Sword too. And he makes it there as well. That's a really key moment because there's 2 players in the room, Miaz and Pain. They should be able to force this Bell for 50 points. But blue does have the map as they were able to eliminate Spectre, the Power Herald.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I think it's going to be a lot harder for them to come back playing this comp. I am almost a little bit surprised that we saw these swaps, even though I sort of joked about seeing it earlier. I think maybe Aeon on Druid is a little bit better for them, but I think that playing from behind with that comp is harder. But they're doing it so far. They get a chain kill into the Guardian with the Guardian still on respawn. If they can find a Bell quickly here, it'll be really, really good. They don't want to stagger this Bell that long anymore, like they were doing earlier. Smokescreen, excuse me, Zan though.
They get the res. That's just the value of that smoke screen. Great, just kind of instinct by Zan to know to go for that. Need to see a renewed focus. Oh, he can't get it. After the heal skill, wanted to go for that heal, but couldn't get that in time. And
they have to finish this kill, though.
Yeah, they're going to get it, though. And actually, blue team managed to pop off and win a team fight. They're going to get themselves that Bell. That is not what should have happened there. And they're going to get more, too. The Revenant are about to fall. I think this Necromancer in the firing line. This might be a big comeback maneuver. In fact, I think it almost certainly will be. I expect to see blue team actually nearly break even, if not break even, or even gain a lead over their opponents after this conflict. Yeah, Revenant goes down, Necromancer down, Elementalist also eliminated from the map. This is a big moment for blue.
Yep, 25 points on the board for them from the Bell as well, but more importantly, not 50 points from that Bell for the red team. And yeah, I mean, they did a really good job. I actually can't believe that the Guardian got rezzed and then 3 players died, or maybe even 4. I don't know. I mean, that was just them not really having a good enough target, I guess, in the team fight. Them not really rotating players in quickly enough. Someone getting picked, before that team fight really popped off. Definitely didn't help them and forcing more cooldowns to be burned. Pain almost caught out here, though. Does need to be really careful. We will see Aeon trying to peel for him, but Zan, as well as the Revenant, are here with the Guardian. The rest of the blue team coming in now. Decap comes out. Side nodes confirmed from the team. this is a very good state. We are going to see them actually take the lead now on Capricorn.
Yeah, Oki's down, so that's a bit of momentum here, but this Guardian is just getting bullied. Pain is just going berserk on him right now, combined with Tramonax. They've got to get Oki, though. They need to convert this kill, and the Guardian's in trouble. They need to actually finish this.
Oh, big pull from Trauma. Knockback is good, though, and that's going to rally the Guardian.
Yeah, it's a big rally, but the Guardian's actually not out of the woods yet. There's the kill again. They can't peel him out. Hand res and the knockback. There it is. Good, and Aeon falls. Now Zan grabs the Bazaar. Nemesis being very annoying here, getting rid of Miaz here on the middle node, and the momentum very much with the red team right now. And here's another bell, and Zan might be about to snag that for free. Is there an answer? There is. Tramonax is moving over right now. Of course, the Thief will be able to hold this 1v1 fairly well, particularly with the smoke screen. Warrior and Blind do not like each other that much. And now with the Guardian coming in, that should cement that for sure. With the Revenant too, Tramonax might have to concede this, and that will be back into the driving seat for red team.
Yeah, 50 points would be pretty big, and unfortunately, again, Pain is here, but he's going to be a little bit late, and he wouldn't be able to contest that for very long. Anyways, Trauma is going to be taken out after burning so many cooldowns trying to contest it, so the 50 points is going to be a very good thing there for the red team. They get a pretty sizable lead, about 50 points exactly, for them. Middle node, though, is getting capped up by Aeon. Both side nodes currently being contested. Oki, though, is not going to be able to survive for very long. I mean, yeah, again, this is just like, this comp doesn't really enable blue team to win bells unless they already have an advantage going into it like we saw them on the last one. Still, the game's certainly not over. 2 minutes left. They have a winning map state currently, although Oki is now going to be forced to 1v1 into a core necro. He's really susceptible to getting plus tier by a Thief. Other side of the map, Mia's already a little bit low. Does have Lich out, though, but blue team really need to find a kill here that they can chain into a cap. And then potentially some advantage somewhere, as at the moment Mia's probably going down, and it doesn't look like that's going to happen. I don't want to say it, but it could be GG here for red team.
It's an absolute razor edge. Aeon coming in here, driving away the Necromancer. You know, there was that 1v1, as you said, with Oki and the Necro, but Aeon moves in, and that, of course, denies the Necro from getting any value. Zan now decapping middle. It's still 30 points in it. Will be responded to here by Pain. Pain should be able to contest that for a little while. Tramonax now going to 1v1 into the Weaver, and blue team still with the actual node advantage here. Red need one node. If they can get one, they should be in a good spot, as long as they can keep the other one neutral. But actually, Tramonax winning the 1v1 into the Weaver.
Yeah, I mean, this is just they didn't get a second kill after Mia's died, and
the decap.
Unfortunately.
Oh, no.
Oh, wait a minute.
Mia's coming back. Oh, and the Necro doesn't see it. Oh, that's tragic. He does see it now, but it's too late, I think.
Oh, Zan almost gets one shot by Oki's nades. That's huge. If he had been able to find the kill onto the Thief. Pain dies, unfortunately, though. Zan's still at 3% HP. Does get his heal off, though. This is going to allow them to plus, but Trauma is here as well. And yeah, that decap huge on the middle node. They might actually be able to find a kill as well. The Necro and Zan trying to peel him
30
out.
seconds.
Should be okay. Oh, man, this is so close. 16 points separate these teams. Blue team have to contest the side nodes. Kills could come into it as Oki's almost going to die. He does get Elixir S off, just barely surviving. Zan in stealth still here looking for some kills. He's on top of the boxes, though. It's going to be a little bit harder. Does get the jump as well. And all they need to do is survive 15 more seconds.
Oh, the thing is,
though, the kill on Oki's good.
Wait, I think though, blue team would win if no one dies. Actually, like as long as
but two people die.
Yeah. Oh, and there's a cap there as well, and the cap is confirmed on the dot. Yeah, that's going to be a
GG.
confirmation for the red team. Blue would have won, I believe, on overtime. Yeah, they would have won on overtime actually, because it would have been even on 0-0. But the kill on Oki and the cap on the Bazaar or the Docks rather, is enough to secure the game. What an absolutely ridiculous match.
Wow. Damn, that was close. They should have swapped to Druid sooner, I guess.
Oof, yeah, the Druid certainly started to get them going back there, and well, they foolishly went for the team fight, but the team fight is not where their true strength lies. And yep, that's going to be it. We see our top 8 now. It's going to be the Master of Disaster, Mind of Meta Draw, Quarantine Crusaders, the Frenchies. Okay, rather well. At least one of them's French. Okay, how do I play this? Spocker and 7 Deadly Sins. Is there anything that we're surprised to see missing there? I don't think so, right?
Our Quaggins aren't in. So
yeah,
they got
Quaggins
eliminated.
Yeah.
Which is, obviously unfortunate for them. Pretty strong team. Likes to see them, but the rest of these guys, I mean, not too surprising. 7 Deadly Sins getting kind of lucky there, honestly. Lucky in a couple of ways. Not only, I think, do they maybe get the easiest matchup they could, besides maybe how do I play this, but they obviously lucked out because they've lost twice and they still get into the elimination stages. But Yeah, I mean, very close match. We could potentially, actually, we might even see a rematch, I think, because...
Yeah, and it'll be semis. If they both win, then it will go to semifinals. You're absolutely right. So we see a rematch of that.
It's quite cool.
And the other potential matchups, it's going to be, of course, well, Draw, Quarantine Crusade. I think that's probably the one we want to look at here, I think. Here, I think Master Disaster. I mean, I do like Mind of Men. I almost want to go in there and cheer them on a bit, but they've got us some serious work to try and take down that team. The Master of Disaster, Roy. I mean, look, they don't call them that for no reason, right? It's a serious roster.
Yeah.
Dude, why are they allowed to have the name Sussy Cummies?
I don't know, man.
You know what I do like about the rise to power of Hearthstone Zan, Roy? Is that now we have Dra and Draza, and we have regular Zan, Zan, Band Zan, and Hearthstone Zan.
There's too many Zans.
So we have, you know, a bunch of Zans. I like that. We even have World vs. World Roma Zan, too, on NA. Do you know what? He also plays Hollow, too. Makes it even more confusing.
I didn't even know that guy existed.
Yeah.
Which match you want to play? Or watch, excuse me.
Oh, that's a good question. I think they could all be pretty good.
I feel like Draw versus Cove might be the best
I'd
match,
lean towards that as well. The Spocker team, you know, I think the Spocker team also has the potential to pop. And give us a really serious game into 7 Deadly Sins. But I think let's go ahead and start with Draw into Quarantine Crusaders and see where that goes, because it's going to be an... if there's any map where you might want to play Triple Necro, Faux Fire might be it.
I mean, I think every map you can play Triple Necro. I mean, like you said before, there's 3 nodes, 3 Necros.
They're doing it. They're doing it as well. It is actually Triple Necro. They are going... I can't believe this. Quarterfinals in monthly 8D. Triple Necro, Feifei, Fat Brain Gamer, Minion Mancer, Andreas, Regular Necromancer, and Stern Scourge. Cran and Maya there. Like the only things that aren't Necro is Support and Thief. And Blue Team actually having difficulty.
Yeah. Turns out Necro's pretty strong. Fly gets picked off onto the side there by Maya, the better thief of the two.
Can Cran get the res? That's the question. Sorry,
yeah,
Atlanti.
We are going to see the Signet come out.
Yep.
So Shuriken will be able to get that Signet. Fly under a ton of pressure, though. Maya right back on top of him. He's going to go down again. Ooh. And, I mean, one of the biggest issues with playing into a 3 Necro comp, what do you target, right? Because if you know, you don't want to target a Necro, you don't really have much of a choice. They're all just, it's very hard to kill them. Feifei, though, is very, very low. She's potentially going to be taken out, but Shroud enabled is going to keep her alive. There's a lot of pressure now on to Cookie Queen, Jesus Christ there, and Cran continuing to support her. Tornado actually coming through from Cran. Not sure about that one, but either way, pretty strong start here from Red Team.
Yeah, and I've got to say, I mean, look, I like Reaper as much as the next guy, Roy, but Reaper into triple, like, mega corrupt Necro, it's going to be tough for Gornet to get value here. I don't think they can finish this kill on Feifei. Yeah, Feifei gets rezzed immediately there from the team, and the support comes out from Cran. It's fantastic. Blue team, they're having a bit of difficulty in engaging this, so it's a little bit too early to say like how this game will go, but I think there has to be some kind of answer to this Necro. Oh, Andreas does get caught here with a quick 3v1 from Dra, Fly, and of course Cookie Queen, so that's a really nice pickup there, but Maya goes to the other side of them. They're grabbing the waterfall while the fight continues to rage on the middle node.
I actually think you don't want a team fight against this, because I think Triple Necro is just... I mean, I don't even with Crayon on Tempest, I just don't think you win the team fight unless you play really, really well. And what we saw happen just now, where Andreas got taken out, you know, he got killed pretty quickly. I think if they have an extra rotator instead of one of those Necros, if they have maybe Nade Hollow or something, even Mirage, I actually think it would be easier for them to pick up kills on the Necros on the side nodes and just out-rotate Red Team. And I think that's probably the best way to play around this. I mean, look at this res power that they have here. They almost get that hard res under a 5-man cleave. There's going to be a breach there as well. That'll push them off. Stern going to be able to get that res. That actually might have been Cran. Yeah, he burned the glyph. Yeah, it was
Cran with the glyph, yep.
I mean, that's crazy. They actually get a res against 5 players cleaving.
Yeah, they're very durable. I do like the Herald play here from Dra, too. I think that's going to give them the ability to be really decisive with their rotations and get kills very, very quickly. So I think this is a smart play instead of the Hollow, just to be really, really fast and very, very bursty to punish some of these Necromancers when they get outnumbered. But yeah, as you say, it's just super hard to actually win into this. You know, Gornet about to get completely unloaded on. Watch those colonies go up there, see if they can collect, see if he can collect all of them, just like fucking Pokemon did, right? But there you go, Gornet about to fall. I believe there is a Signet. There is, but there's no stability. And a Tornado from Cran is almost certainly going to guarantee this kill, I think. Maybe, yeah, Missile Stop there from Cran. That's fantastic there from Cran, too. And Red Team, even though they do lose Andreas, they're going to start re-pushing back into middle and try and get more kills. Maya does get exploded over here. Cran does not have that revive, so they're going to have to go for the hand res. They should be able to get it quite nicely, but this might leave that node open.
For the hand res. Poor them. 3 Necros having to go for a hand res. Yeah. Oof.
Truly tragic.
Yeah. I hate to see it. You know, I think the one thing keeping blue team in this game right now is that they've gotten a couple of nice pickups. Fly has been rotating decently. I think Draw has been rotating very, very well as well. So they're not too far behind. The other thing, too, is, I mean, if they can just kind of out-rotate red team a little bit, red team is very slow because they have 3 Necromancers. But, yeah, I think the fact that they're running 2 Necros hurts them because they can't team fight this red team. There's just no way to do it, and they have to try and split them up, which they're doing now pretty well. Although we do see a kill picked up on the Fly, so that'll slow them down a little bit. Draw now going to get engaged on here. But the other issue, I think, with red team's comp is that every time Maya pluses, she's plussing into a Necro, and it's not the worst thing to plus into, but I think, you know, if she pluses into Stern, if she pluses into Feifei, it's going to be a little bit harder for them to find a kill in whatever it is, because, you know, they're not plussing into something that I think has a little bit more kill potential on the side.
Yeah, Necro can be pretty good, but you know, you really have to be super prompt with it. Otherwise, as you can see from Andreas, right? Like, Andreas can't really survive super well outnumbered for very, very long. So you have to be really on that to actually generate any kind of value from that plus. And the good revive from Cran should stabilize this for the red team, but they don't really want to take that fight because it's going to take ages, right, to break through that with the support Guardian. So they're just going to try and force a fight on mid. They're going to get Gornet. There's no possibility to revive that as Adelanti is simply too far away. So that is good, but red team definitely want more than this. And they do get a second kill there on the other Necro. They've got to stop this though, because Adelanti has almost made it. It's not impossible we could see a revive come through. Here comes the Signet. It actually lands as well. Not quite enough ability to clear those kills out.
Where do you go from here, though? Because you just lost your Reaper, which is your main team fight damage besides the Herald. All of your players are low, including Adelante. He doesn't have cooldowns. I mean, they can try and push onto Waterfall, but this is where red team should look to just really hard push a team fight on one of these side nodes, and it looks like that's what they're doing. Sending 4 players into Waterfall. They get a kill on to Cookie Queen. There's obviously no risk potential since the Signet was just burned. Draw is too low to really contest that. Gornet just coming in off of respawn. This is a good position for red team to be in.
Yep, they should be able to grab themselves the Waterfall.
They should have probably just... excuse me, I think they should have just staggered. Just disengaged after they lost those 2 Necros. Not gone for the res, not tried to continue to contest.
I think this fight on Waterfall's a little bit scary because Andreas isn't here. It's going to be 2 Necros versus 2 for a little while on respawn. And yeah, red team I think quite wisely disengaging, not really wanting to play for their far node. You know, preferring to be closer to their base so they can reinforce easily if some of them do die. So I do like that, and that should get them the lead in a fairly safe manner. Blue team will of course get themselves the Waterfall, but 2 nodes is probably going to be a big part of the play here for red team, just holding those 2 down, because as you said, they are very slow with those Necromancers, so they can't really play all 3 super effectively.
Yeah, they're kind of moving as one unit, which is, you know, they're taking a page from World vs. World players. Cran is an avid World vs. World player. You know, it works out pretty well when you have everyone just move as a unit together. Almost finding the kill on a draw, actually. Glint Heel keeping him alive for a little bit longer. Bit of pressure turn on FFA as well is going to make it a little harder for them to find that kill onto the Revenant. And she's actually getting quite hard pressure there. Gornet, though, maybe overextending. His Shroud already depleted as he goes in there and gets a bit of burst off. But right now, I mean, it's just, yeah, blue team unable to kind of break this. Fly now going to be really low. Draw again going to be very low. Gornet low. All of the blue team players are low here in this fight. And red team haven't really had to do much except just exist as Necros.
Adelanti does have, you know, he's got Signet available, so if someone does die, it's recoverable. And Drak, it's a sneaky decap over there, kind of abusing some of that speed there to get to that, and that will slow down the progress of red team as the game progresses. And the good news of blue is that there hasn't been a kill secured, but Maya's like, wait a minute, I don't need to fight. I can just run around the map while my team just kind of like stalls. She's cracked the code, but Andreas might be about to fall here on mid. Oh, he didn't get his heal. Resible, maybe.
Yeah, Cran gets Glyph, though.
Oh, no, he doesn't.
See. Oh, the Storm.
What happened?
I think he got CC'd. He got interrupted. He was going.
His Glyph is off. On
oh, no, you burned it. Oh, there maybe, I guess, a knockback from Dry, I presume, or something like that. Ah, now. Bit of a counter snowball coming through. Cran can't revive that, of course, because he already used the Glyph. And now they're left heavily outnumbered on that middle node. This is a very scary position for the red team to be in. I think they're going to have to leave this middle node. And, well, mid is very important on Fofire, but yeah, can they just not die? I think they both die here. Ooh, they do both die. Yeah, both Feifei and Cran are going to fall. Andreas will go for a bit of a back cap here, a bit of a sneaky thief play on Necro. I think Dra will be able to intercept as Maya falls their leading Dra towards this node. Although a nicely timed fear mark, yeah, might get the job done there. Yeah, there we go. So red team do a good job of trying to hold things steady, but blue team about to get a bit of a lead here, I think.
Yeah, red team have started to split. I mean, they really can't do anything here. They have 3 people still on respawn. And I mean, this is, again, one of the weaknesses of this comp. When 1 Necro falls, you still have 2 Necros, but you really just don't have a lot of other team fight damage. And Cran missing that glyph, actually, I think, again, I don't know how he missed it. I didn't see what happened because Draw didn't knock him. He still had his lead, I'm pretty sure. Unless there's just some other knock that I'm forgetting about here. But either way, I think missing that glyph was huge from Cran. Them not having all 3 Necros makes it a lot harder for them to find kills and a lot harder for them to continue pressure here without the added benefit of a Herald or like a Nade Hollow. And we're going to see potentially another Snowball come out here if they can find this other kill. Cran looking for the misform res. There is a breach on top of it there from Stern. They are going to be able to get it, but Cran falls.
I think they should be able to get him back up, though. They've got some really good counterpill there. Draw now heavily pressured, or a big fearing onto him. Should actually downset him, but Stern so pressured there as well. Adelanti going for the res. Is it interruptible? No, it's not. I think there's going to be a Shadow Step Storm or something like that. No, yep, there it is. Coming through there from Fly. That might be the killing blow. I believe we are going to see a blue team victory in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Red team, again, it's kind of like, you know, slow and steady wins the race unless you just stop moving completely. And unfortunately, when, you know, they just lost that team fight so hard, blue team able to continue to snowball off of it. And red team just can't come back. They don't have the potential to out-rotate with this comp. They don't have the potential, you know, to move back into the map very quickly after a full team wipe. And, I mean, this second team wipe is just absolutely the killing blow, as you said. And that should be GG, I think, for blue team here.
Yep, I think that's going to be just about it. Really, like red team, they need to wipe blue team. There's still time in the game left. It's 100 points. It's potentially doable if they have an incredibly decisive fight now. But I really like this play here from blue, just pushing across the map, meaning that even if they do lose a fight, it will take such a long time to get to the rest of the map for those Necros that it won't matter and the game will simply end or just be completely insurmountable at that point. If they get Cran here, that really does completely end things. A Thief from Fly looking to go for that kill. But Cran is going to live another day. Or actually, no, he isn't. He's dead.
Yeah, they might be able to get the hard res, but no, that's going to be GG. There isn't really a comeback potential here for red team, in my opinion. Because they can't win team fights as decisively as blue team. There's just no snowball potential. They should be able to survive team fights and slowly drain away blue team's life with this triple necro comp, but they're not going to be able, we shouldn't really be seeing blue team losing 3-4 players at a time like we've seen red team do several times now. And they really would need that, I think, to be able to come back. So yeah, unfortunately, that is it for the red team.
Yeah, you may want to step into the other game, by the way.
Game.
Into the how do I play this game? The NA and Benzo and Drace gamers, because we may get our wish, Roy. It may be a rematch here between the Pain team and, of course, the Hearthstone Xananan team. Because it's very close, but blue team currently leading right now so far. And they just pick, they lose a kill, so actually. Nemesis about to go down here, getting stomped out, but the support and the Revenant arrive to hopefully get that Weaver back on his feet. There you go, the Weaver is now back. 3 minutes left, Roy, all to play for in the elimination rounds of the monthly automated tournament.
Yeah, and I mean, this is definitely a little bit of a closer game. I think red team have more potential to come back into this than we saw the Corny Crusaders. However, they're starting to lose this fight. Obviously, that res onto Nemesis is very good. Core Necro now being chased down. How do I play this indeed is going to be brought into downstate. He does get res, though. Benzo is going to be able to find him, hold the hard res for Eternity to get that Signet. And they actually pick up mid, so now we're going to have some rotations coming in off of mid. It'll now be a 4 versus 4 over on this node. There's a Thief 1v1 on the other side of the map as well, which is obviously pretty relevant. Whichever Thief can win that might actually be good. Zan actually leaving that. He's going to try and go for the decap. I do like this move from Zan. Just slow down red team's point game, but really nice heads up there from this core Necro. He's going to be able to stop that from happening. However, he puts himself in such a bad position, and he goes into downstate. No res utility from Eternity. That's going to be a kill confirmed.
It absolutely is, and that might be what the blue team needs to actually start getting back into, getting the momentum back on their side. Eternity getting stomped out now too. Thief moves in to be a little bit annoying, and red team, they are currently ahead with a double cap on the map actually. But Benzo falls too in this fight. The 2v2 is not looking good for blue, and the Necromancer might be about to die as well. I think those kills might be what it takes. Yeah, with the Thief falling too. Blue team are going to get this game in the bag, and they will face Pain, I believe, in the semifinals.
Yeah, the rematch should be enabled. Yeah, you know, unfortunate here for the red team. They just kind of got staggered very hard. They didn't find any kills in response to their own players dying, and blue team should be able to just hold on to this map very, very easily at this point. They're going to find potentially another kill here on it to one of these two core necros. Eternity is coming in. He might be able to keep him alive, but at this point, I don't think it's going to matter if he does, because the triple cap is almost there for this blue team on Legacy. They're 100 points away from winning, and they do find potentially a kill here onto one of these necros. So that should be game.
Yep, I believe so. Zan is actually popping, finds a kill in a 1v2 on the Necromancer. Even with Benzo around, the revive is going to come through. Not enough initiative for another choking gas, unfortunately. But it does not matter, as blue team have got themselves a very heavy point lead, and with just 1 minute left on the clock, well, it is actually basically impossible for red team to win. It's not really doable. Yeah. Precast Signet there on the Weaver too. You love to see that there.
Lord.
Yeah, I mean, Lord could happen, but I mean, with a minute, I'm not sure if Lord is really an option. They are. Well, they're not even in position either, actually. They have to go all the way to the other side of the map. Can't be done. It's game over. I think the other games were fairly decisive compared to these. As you can see, they've already ended. So we picked the two good ones to take a look at. But it's merely a formality at this point. Red team, they're going for it. They're really fighting as much as they possibly can. But,
wait,
yeah, there you go.
Teapot, do we watch Misha versus Draw, or do we watch the rematch between blue team and Payne's team? Those are both really good games.
We have some very tough decisions. Very, very, very tough decisions to make here, I think. I'm not sure where we go with that, to be honest with you.
I mean, we could tell Payne to delay accepting his Q-pop and try and watch as much of the first game.
Honestly, would be a big play there, if you ask me, because you want to take a look at both of them. I mean, rematch will be pretty good. Yeah, apparently finals are going on NA as well. Like, why can't we see both right? This is horrible. And finals are close on NA too, actually, funnily enough. I don't even know what I want to look at. I have a bit of a feeling that the 7 Deadly Sins game is probably going to be a little bit closer. I think I would fairly strongly favor Master of Disaster over Draw, simply because of the all-star roster. But definitely worth keeping an eye on both of them, you know. The Draw team performing extremely well with their team fighting with their rotations there, so worth keeping an eye
on. All right. So the second match is actually popped before the first one.
Yep. Let's go ahead and take a look at it.
Very good, very good.
Okay. Interesting. Now, how do you feel about the comps here? Because, of course, it's roaming. It's going to be the roaming comp here. Although Aeon is going to play support with Tramadex on Warrior. Then Oki, Miao's going to be the kind of the team fight, the bulk of the team fight, and the Thief on Paint.
I would expect Aeon to swap to Druid before the game starts. I really don't see a reason for her to play Guardian with the way that they've been playing, especially considering the map they're on. I don't know. I mean, maybe they want to practice it in case they think it's the better option against Misha's team, and so they really want to give her a couple games on Guardian. But, like, I don't know. I feel like when they have that Druid, first of all, I think she just looks better on it, and second of all, I think when they have that Druid as part of their comp, it's just such a strong, integral part of the comp, and it just, I don't know, they get so much value out of it. I don't know. I don't really see the reason. It's also interesting because I think Warrior is a little bit worse in the team fight than Revenant, and so I think having Trauma on Warrior implies they don't want to team fight as much, which would, you know, imply her not on...
Yep, and there it is. You're right. You're right, Roy. The relog is here. It's going to be Gwen
my brain
Aeon.
Is massive.
It really is. Roy is a 5-head gamer. We now have the confirmed relog. Onto the Druids, and it's going to try and roam it. I mean, it's not the biggest map in the universe, but it is a map where I think kind of troll builds like Druid can actually be very powerful because of how easy it is to kite on the side nodes, A and C in particular. Well, and on point B. And even the Hammer, to be frank, it's a very good map for being annoying. And, well, that is exactly what Druid can do, and I think Warrior is in the same vein as that too. It can be a little bit irritating to take down this map simply because of the terrain being advantageous. And the Weaver didn't make it in time, actually was stalled by Pain enough to give Tramnax the cap, so a good start here, I think, for the red team, particularly seeing as this 2v2 will already be initiated by Pain, so no outnumbered for Tramnax to hold on to. Meanwhile, a Necromancer eliminated from the map basically by Aeon. Necro can't hold this and will eventually lose the node and will have to rotate away. Good opener here, I think, for the red team.
Yeah, the main thing to me, though, is that, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I could be wrong. I don't know the matchups well enough to 100% say this, but I feel like the 2v2 between the Warrior and the Weaver and Thieves is a little bit better for the Weaver. I feel like, you know, Pain doesn't maybe want to rely on that too much, so I think him leaving, or rather Zan leaving, and then Pain following him is actually beneficial for the red team. I feel like it should be a little easier to kill the Warrior in that 2v2, but I could be wrong with that. Either way, though, we are going to see Zan try and give the node to his Necro. But yeah, I mean, this is just the power of the Druid, because as soon as Zan leaves, even if they get the node, she should be able to decap and get the node, make the node neutral again.
Yeah.
And they get a kill.
They get a kill there on the Rev, does get revived up by the Guardian quite effectively, but I think Oki just wants to go again, actually wants to try and find that kill again. There's no Glint Heal available. There's the kill. There could even be an Elixir. And the Guardian goes down as well. Ooh. Well, I mean, the blue team, they're going to have to find some of what they were, you know, what they had in the previous game on Capricorn, actually, because they're having a lot of difficulty here. Red team is, they've activated Roy. They've gone to the next level, okay, and they are kind of crushing their opponents so far in the early stages of this game.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm going to be honest, this is actually a really impressive start, I think, on Skyhammer, because usually you see Skyhammer games, as we've said, go really, really slowly, and I think Red Team is doing a really good job of just getting a sizable lead early on. They actually could almost snowball this game. They find a kill on his Nemesis as well, who's obviously going to perform to the node, but that'll just be a you know, kill blood out. They find the kill onto the Guardian at mid as well. Blue team pretty staggered into this. This should be a double cap held for some significant amount of time. I'm surprised we don't see a rotation into Aeon a little bit sooner. She actually gets the decap into 2 players, too. That Revenant coming in off of respawn, and she should die here. I don't know why we didn't see a rotation from Red Team sooner into this. That was a bit of a misplay, I think, from them. But they have held on to this double cap for a significant amount of time, and they will be getting quite a sizable lead here.
Yeah, they absolutely will. Up 80 points, and as long as they don't lose any more players, they should be able to reset themselves fairly effectively. And I don't think this Herald is going to have much luck in solo killing this Necromancer very well. The Weaver is going to respawn, and that will be pretty annoying, but a good Spectral Walk is going to disengage Miaz back towards the middle node here. And they're just going to try and take up a straight-up fight, I believe. Pain moving in, maybe kind of hunting for the decap, will allow Zan to sneak by to point C, but here we go. There's going to be a big fight here in middle. There's a support in favor of blue, so that's certainly to their advantage. This fight needs to end quickly if red team want to win it, or I think they might just disengage it as well, because they've forced a lot of blue team's players to join here, and I don't think they really have the staying power to win that.
No, I mean, in general, we shouldn't really see them try to match them 4v4, 5v5 on a node. The problem is Skyhammer's up, so they might be forced to try and match them a little bit harder to that, and this is where it's going to be a little bit worse for them with this comp on the map, and Aeon getting bursted down there. That Warrior stolen ability from Zan actually doing so much damage to her. They might just sack Skyhammer, although we do see Trauma coming back into it. And I actually think sacking it might be the right call. I think if they just give Skyhammer up quickly, it might be worth it for them. However, if they can kind of just consistently troll it without losing players, keep on holding 1 or 2 nodes of the map, which they're doing very well right now, it's probably fine for them. So as long as they don't lose players, as long as they don't try to match a team fight into it, I think it's fine. Blue team, on the other hand, probably want to try and just really hard swing this, I would say, Skyhammer. You know, if they send 4 or 5 players there, they're already behind, they already don't have the map state. Winning Skyhammer would allow them to kind of break back into a neutral map. It might be better for them.
Yeah, but that's not happening. In fact, the opposite is happening. Okay, they aren't even bothering to stall it. They're going to get the Hammer, Roy. They're going to kill the Rev, or the Necro, rather. And the Weaver is not going to be able to really do much 1v3. I mean, this is a completely devastating game for Red Team so far. 200 points to 50. Nothing's going on here. Like, we just haven't really seen a single victory for the Blue Team the entire game. They killed Aeon, but they didn't really get much out of that. And, well, she's already back being annoying, trolling the Guardian and the Rev simultaneously. The guy is now going to leave to try and help out the Weaver on the Hammer, but they aren't going to win the Hammer with that. They're just going to have to stall it. This is a disaster.
Yeah, I said earlier that I thought this was a really impressive start from Red Team, and this is actually a really impressive game on Skyhammer because, you know, we've talked so much about how Skyhammer is usually a map that goes much slower. Sometimes you don't even win by points, you just win by timer. And obviously one of the, the things to say to that is, well, if one team is just so much better than the other team, they obviously will just win. But the thing is, this blue team literally beat Red Team on Capricorn. So I think Red Team are just playing this really, really well so far. And to be fair, I think they are just kind of outplaying blue team a little bit. I think maybe they made a couple mistakes on Capricorn, and that's why we did see them lose. It was a very close match either way. So, I do think this isn't too surprising. Red team are probably the stronger team here, but regardless, I think this is just really good play from them overall. Yeah.
It absolutely is. They are nailing this so far. They're doing exactly what they need to do with their composition. Not overly committing to those really big fights. Utilizing that Druid being super, super annoying. Yeah, it's putting a lot of work. Zan nearly gets caught. is able to disengage with the stealth. But again, it's the same setup. We have the double nodes here. We have a Necromancer on point C into the Weaver. It is getting plus by another Necromancer, but the red team will be able to reinforce that very, very quickly. Tramonax being annoying on middle, kind of tying up the Guardian and the Herald. Aeon moving to help out about that as well. I mean, this is just... everywhere on the map is going to be kind of difficult for blue team to do too much. They can maybe get a kill on Miaz, but Miaz has already got the disengage, actually, so that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I did quickly pop into the other game, and it's actually, I think, more one-sided for Misha's team than the game we were watching.
Ouch.
I think, unfortunately, Draw's team, yeah, they are losing. It's about the same. I'd say it's about the same. But Misha's team is hard winning that game.
Well,
also, someone asked, how is Zan playing on 2 teams? Yes.
Yes.
Zan is multi-boxing. That is how good he is. He's playing Thief for this blue team, and he's playing Nade Hollow for the other team.
yeah, his main account got deleted, right? So he's pretty salty about it. So he's trying to gatekeep the monthly AT as hard as possible. And to do that, he plays on 2 accounts simultaneously. So, you know, he wants to get spot number 1 and 2, right? So no one can even get second, no one can even get finals. Pretty good. Also makes the finals a lot easier because you can just AFK on one of the accounts and just auto it on the other. But yeah.
Well, unless you don't make it to the finals in both, which he's not.
That's true.
Currently.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to step up again. His Thief gameplay obviously not quite good enough. Zan does manage to find a kill here onto Aeon. I don't think that's really revivable.
Remember when Zan queued on like Condi Thief for a really long time?
Yes.
Wasn't he playing Condi Thief all the time? Yeah, that was disgusting.
Yeah.
He liked that build, I think. Fuck that build, man. Ah, good times. Soon Zan will fill all the AT spots. Yes.
Yes.
It will be the monthly automated Zan.
There will only be 2 players, Zan and Dra, right? Those are the only 2. In fact, it will just be a team of Zans versus a team of Dras. That's the only thing. That's it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this game is kind of a little bit over. At this stage, it's halfway through and only 116 points for the blue team. Red team not really having that much... not many ways to really throw at this point, I think. I mean, they do lose Oki on the hammer, but I think we actually might see Aeon get that revive. Oh, I think the cleave is just barely good enough. Aeon can't get it, but I'm not sure if they can really get rid of Aeon. It's a support and a Necromancer, so they can't really do too much. So even though they kill Oki, it doesn't do anything. He's going to be back soon anyway. Yeah, and this just leaves the Necromancer just to deal with the Druid for a while. And again, the Druid will just very, very slowly win this. Anyway, Oki already back off respawn, going back to try and hold on to mid here. Guardian does get the decap there with the Power Herald, but yeah, I mean, it's still 1 cap apiece, and that's nowhere near good enough. Like, we're at the stage in the game where I think blue needs to be looking to hold at least 2 nodes with 1 neutral or in their possession in order to win this game. Aeon does get quickly exploded by Zan, and that may well lead to a hammer, but no, it won't, because the infinite supply of kind of tanky, annoying people is just, another one comes out, right? Here we go. Tramonax has now been unleashed. And he's going to be annoying. They're going to send 3 players to get rid of him, and that will probably work, but Aeon's already back.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Trauma actually probably the easiest person to kill on this team, unironically, just because he doesn't have stealth to disengage like Oki does, or obviously Pain. He's on, Berserker Amulet. I think he's probably a lot easier to kill than the Necro or the the Ranger. The one thing versus the Necro is he has mobility and the Necro does not. But either way, I think blue team right now are kind of at the best stage they've been in the whole game, which is slowing down red team's point gain. I don't think they can really win. I think that all they can do is make the win harder for red team, which is what they're currently doing. They do have a map state that's favorable for them at the moment, but I don't think that's going to last very long.
Yep, although, Pain does die, so a bit of a stag, a bit of a snowball here, and that should be confirmed. Oki going to go for the revive, but the Herald Cleave should be good enough here, I think, unless there's some kind of miracle to, prevent that from happening. But no, there it is. Pain does actually fully die, but point A has already been reobtained here, and there should be a pretty solid 2v2 here. Necro and the Horse, which will be deadly to deal with, I think. But they're going to get a bit of a head start on me, as he's going to be forced to portal away, while Oki is just kind of finishing off another kill over there on the Herald. After also securing, well, failing to get that res on Pain, I guess. But it's point A and C for red. I mean, no. This game is over. I'm going to look at the other one. Let's see if anything's changed. No, it's already over. Oh, wow. I mean, yeah, that was quite the decisive matchup there, Roy, between Dra and the Master of Disaster.
Yeah, so I guess we will be seeing a second rematch here for the 7 Deadly Sins going up against Misha's team, who they previously lost to on Temple. But I think this should be a closer match than that Temple game was. I think they have kind of unlocked the, their final form with Aeon on Druid and Trauma on Warrior. Not sure if we'll see any big changes to their comp. Maybe Trauma swaps to a slightly tankier build. Maybe he goes off of Warrior and tries to just really rotate around Aeon and Miaz and goes back to Herald. But I think that should probably be the only possible changes. I don't think we'll see anything else. So really, it's going to come down to, I think, if Red Team can try and out-rotate Misha's team, or if Misha's team is going to be able to snowball like we saw them do on Temple.
Yeah, and that's the problem, because I was going to say, oh, what map do you think they'd like to see? Well, it would make sense if you want to play a roaming comp, which is essentially what the Red Team has here. You'd want to play on Temple. But we already saw them try and do this, and they lost on Temple. Really hard, actually. It was pretty devastating. The early game was, was a little bit close, right? There was something going on. But as soon as Misha's team just got a really solid wipe and took the momentum away from Aeon's team, the game kind of ended. So it's going to be a game on a knife edge. Like, the Red Team need to essentially play perfectly, not make any mistakes to get value out of their composition. Otherwise, they will probably crash and burn.
Yeah, and I think if there's any team that can do it, I think Red Team can. I think they have a lot of very, very strong players in terms of rotational ability, but the problem is, Misha's team, of course, will have the same thing. And, I think that if they just stick to their game plan and play it really hard, and it's not, I think, going to be too difficult for them to win. I think they have less of the sort of onus on them. I think that Red Team are going to really have to try to outperform to win, and I think Misha's team won't have to as much, but still should be, I think, pretty good. Should be a close match there, and we'll be seeing that momentarily as Red Team are just a hair away from taking the semifinal game and saying goodbye to the blue team here.
Indeed. They fought long and hard, and I think I'm very impressed by the blue team here, actually. These are some players who are potentially not quite as well known as a lot of the other players that we see in kind of the usual top 8. And I think they've done a really good job here. They played extremely well. They've gone a long way, but unfortunately their journey does end here, at least until the next monthly automated tournament, or the next daily automated tournament, potentially, I suppose. But yeah, that's going to be it. Game over. And the revenge. It's that classic situation, Roy. Win in Swiss, lose in Elims. Very, very unfortunate for the blue team there, but certainly a strong performance from them. And I'm sure we'll be seeing more of them, right? I've got to say, I'll be keeping an eye on these players. Keeping an eye on the names there. They certainly did a fantastic job to make it this far. But not quite enough to make it to monthly AT finals. Yeah, I mean, it's over, guys. The reign of the Worms is over. The Worms did not play this AT. Feels pretty bad, They've been a team that we see a lot of. We've seen them pretty much every AT for the past year, but I mean, they suffered a bit of a setback, right? They need to figure out what they're going to do with stuff like their roster, I think, because they lost Frey and Draza to this new team. Okay, and yeah, quite the roster indeed. And as a result of that, their team is kind of missing a few members. And I think they still have Esprit, Goku, Aziz, and Raikkonen, right? So they're on one player. They need one additional French gamer. But I think in particular the loss of the Thief, right, is a bit of a problem, I guess. They got all gizmos. Why play? Well, because they're competitive, right? They want to win. That's why. I mean, I think they'd play no matter what. I mean, look, they played when they played on ult sometimes because they already had that gizmo, but they played anyway because they wanted to compete.
Well, part of it too is Zers and Esprit are actually going big gaming on GVG.
Oh, yeah, I heard about this, actually. Yeah, I heard about this, yeah.
No meme, even though the scene is completely dead and irrelevant right now, their guild is actually one of the best in the game right now.
Yeah, I was told they actually were, for a relatively new guild, they were actually doing really well into some of the top contenders, right?
Unironically, FR, the name of their guild is kind of cracked.
Yeah. Oh, wait, what's the guild name, actually? Because I presume that's for French, right?
Yeah, let me see if I have it somewhere. I don't know the full name off the top of my head. The French Mafia. Yeah.
Is it the same guild as like the old one?
I don't know. Maybe.
No, it's not, because I think the French Mafia guild tag was Salt, actually, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So wait, I guess they was deleted and remade it then, or it must be like with an accent on it somewhere. Yeah, that's new French Mafia. They're now back in business. It's Kylo, Roy. Yeah, and I think that's. You can see here they're not going to try and play the Druid comp here because it's too much of a small map. It's too team fighter, and I think this is This actually might be the worst possible map for red team. You know, I've got that does feel pretty bad. You know, that's unfortunate. Yeah, it's gonna be Aeon on the Druid. It's gonna try and match it, and they're gonna double rev it instead of they're just gonna drop the Thief and just almost try and force 2 nodes maybe. Like with the double rev with Tramodax and Pain both playing Revenant, double Herald with a Holosmith here from Oki and the Necromancer from Miaz. An unusual composition. I'm not sure if this is going to work, Roy. It's going to be difficult to make this happen here, I think. And once again, we see the push coming through from rank 55 Gentleman.
This is probably the worst map red team could have gotten because it's so much easier for blue team to abuse, unabuse, I guess you could say, the Druid, and find kills quicker on it because of the nature of the map. So I guess it kind of makes sense why Aeon goes in here, but immediately porting into that line there for Misha, already taking a ton of damage, Pain going to be really low. I don't know. I mean, they have to match the team fight, and I said this before, I don't think anyone can match this blue team's team fight right now. I think they're just too good.
Yeah, it's going to be very challenging to do so. They are looking to maybe isolate Misha a little bit, but Zan immediately moves in to peel him out, and Frey taking a bit of a battering, bit of a beating it. It's Clown Fiesta time, right? It's like the full all-on team fight, and Draza did leave the fight. That does give the red team a temporary advantage, but they do trade it for map controls. Blue team will find themselves with the 2-cap. So as long as blue team doesn't wipe out here and they're able to disengage, they come out really well ahead. And Draza's already now back in the fight. But Misha in trouble. Oh, that crate was disgusting from Zan, though. Shutting down the aggression on both those heralds there, completely saving Misha and the stealth from Draza. I've got to say, very nice team play here from the blue team. A very impressive roster, I think, Roy. And you can see that kind of the expertise and the experience coming through. Misha going for the thing. No Thief from Pain to interrupt that with Steel either. And there you go. The fight gets reset and it continues onwards.
Yeah, I mean, I like Double Herald. I think Herald's very strong. I think it's really good. I think this comp from Red Team actually not really bad. Obviously, not having Thief isn't as bad of a thing, not as big of an issue on this map specifically. But Mia's now taken out onto the side and not really in a position to go for the res, even though she does have the Signet available. And they're not getting kills, and they need to be getting kills one after another with Double Revenant. I mean, they literally have a comp. The only way this comp could basically be better suited for farming is if Mia's was on Reaper instead of Core Necro. Aeon now out of cooldowns, too far away from the rest of the team, is going to be taking out Paint at the same time. I don't know. I mean, I don't think this is red team being bad. I think this is blue team just being too good.
Yeah. No, I mean, blue team, you have some absolutely incredible players here. You know, Pain's going to go for the relog, maybe to the Thief again. Yeah, it's going to be to the Thief for Pain. But by the time he's back in the game, that's 40 seconds. They may even end up getting triple capped here. They're going to be down a lot. It's going to be extremely difficult to make a recovery. And yeah, blue team just absolutely crushing, to be frank. They're just annihilating everything.
I almost feel like red team is outplaying themselves a little bit here, trying to swap this up so much. I said it before. I think that this is probably the worst map for them, which really sucks. I think it would be really hard to enable the Druid from Aeon as much, but I think it would have been worth trying it because we've seen her get value on this map before in really high stakes games. And I also just think it's blue team, like I said this before, blue team, they have a specific game plan, and they're going to execute it very well, which is win the team fights, win the game. And that's exactly what's happening right now. And I feel like if there's a Druid in the game, they can't do that exactly the way that they were planning to, and it just allows red team to have, kind of like an ace in the hole, right? It's possible that they can abuse it somehow and get something out of it. But right now, they just don't really have any sort of surprise factor. There's nothing that's different.
They have to match it, right? They just have to match
blue team to change,
and it's not working.
And they can't. And the relog from Pain too doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, he can get value on the map, but he's not going to really help the team fight at all. And again, they're forcing themselves to team fight by having a Core Guardian and a Herald. They can't not team fight with this comp. And Pain being off of Herald, I think, was one of the being on Herald rather, the double Herald, I think, is kind of one of those factors that's slightly different from the norm. And I think that him going back to Thief, while he is extremely good at Thief, probably better than he is on Herald, I just don't think it helps them in this map and in this state. And I mean, the game doesn't look close at all because they haven't won a single fight. And blue team is basically triple capped the whole game. And I think that's probably just kind of how the game's going to be.
Yeah, I don't really see this changing. There's going to be a temporary outnumber and decap going through from Pain, but I think it's kind of prolonging the inevitable. Yeah, Tramodax gets eliminated. Aeon goes for the revive, but now puts herself very much directly in the firing line. Zan and Boyce barreling down into the Lich from Miaz to try and peel out the Guardian, but the Guardian gets shoved away, isolated up onto the kite spot, and Yeah, I think this is pretty much going to be how the game goes. It's GG at this point.
I mean, here's the thing, right? If you have Aeon on Druid, and you have blue team forced to try and either rotate into her and lose value by trying to outnumber her for any period of time, or just ignoring her and giving them a free node. There's something you have to play off of. You have something you can try and play around. You don't have anything to play around here except being behind, and obviously you can't play around that. So again, I respect to red team. I think they're all extremely good players. I think blue team is just better, and they're definitely better at team fighting. I hate to say it, but I'm pretty sure Boyce is better than Trauma. I think that Zan is probably better than Oki. Misha is better at Core Guardian than Aeon. It's just there's too many differences there. If Aeon wasn't Druid, I don't think there's anyone who's better than Druid than Aeon in this game. So there's just an advantage there you have, and you're not using it. So it's also not like that any of these guys are bad at all. It's just if you're playing into rank 55 gentleman's game, and they're happy to let you do that.
You're absolutely right. It would have been. It's a shame it was on Kylo, because I think that's what prompted the relog away from the Druids. I know it would have been good to see them try it, but I just don't think it would have worked on this map. It's just too easy just to force the very linear, very snowbally, team fight oriented map here, I think. Zan even trebbing as he comes off respawn there. But yeah, it's unfortunate here, but this is, the game is over. Like, everything is going right now is just prolonging the inevitable. And I think a Druid game probably would have been longer, right? I think red team may have got more points, but I don't think they would have won specifically on this map. Yeah. On another map, there's definitely, there's some hope potentially. It's more winnable, but on this particular map, I don't think so. I was going to say maybe the Kylo curse kicks in, because I don't know if you know this, but Zan and Misha actually consider Kylo to be a cursed map. Because of some events that happened in Pro League where they lost a game on Kylo. But
oh no,
they've clearly overcome that, and they aren't going to lose this game.
So after Misha did that little meme joke to me yesterday, he said, "I'm sorry, Roy. Watch the MAT tomorrow, and I'll apologize to you or something." And so far he hasn't, so I'm a little confused.
Well, maybe he was saying that he was going to. I believe this is the roster they're playing in the show match. So yeah, that's why they're showing us that the reveal, the grand reveal.
That's kind of bad.
Why?
Who the fuck is going to want to play against this team? I don't know.
Should we break them up? Do we have to? Yeah, we got to break them up. Got to split them in two. Who's going to go? Wait, do we have
need a Bindo to come in 1v5 easier. Otherwise, I don't know.
Can have rank 55 on one side, and then civilized gentleman on the other, right? Easy.
Zan's playing Revenant Rune, by the way.
Yep.
But yeah, that's it looks like probably not probably. This is GG. GG's to both teams. I think red team played really well in that last semi. I think that we saw them have some good moments earlier on as well. I think they got very, very unlucky, unfortunately, getting into Kylo. If it had been a different map, I think we probably would have seen the Druid warrior come out a bit stronger, maybe. But yeah, I think the blue team is just, they have a very, very good roster, and I think it's, especially in this meta where team fighting is so good, and you can kind of just team fight to win, you're probably not going to be able to beat these guys unless you can somehow find some people who are better team fighting, which right now I don't think currently exists.
Yeah, you're going to need a bit of practice to do that. I think it might take a little while. I mean, I think it's not impossible that new teams can rise, new teams can fall, and as much as I think this is a very strong roster, I think I'm not sure how long this team will actually play together, right? There's going to be a bit of a reign of terror, of dominion for a while of blue team, but yeah, it depends how long they'll stay together, because teams, they get bored, right? I think even the Lakers, right? Like when the Lakers got into their incredibly dominant phase, they kind of lost interest in the game, stopped practicing quite as much, and weren't as strong anymore, right? And you can maybe see that happen with some of these rosters as well, but that's it. And once again, it's always good to see a new player. I mean, you can take a look at this, Roy. Zan, actually on 1,000 AP. Very new player to Guild Wars 2.
Man, what the heck, dude? All these new players are able to win MATs. I never have. Like, what? Dude, I have 32 KAB, and there's 1 KAP players winning the game. They just started, and I lose. Like, what?
Yeah.
This sucks, man.